Welcome to Mediocre Rumble Brothers. I'm Jordan, your host, and the team Corey, Edwin, Udon. We changed our name again. I swear to God, it's the last time, but we just wanted to get it out of the way. We will be discussing the topic of guilty pleasures with garbage games. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and go around and see what we did this week. Corey, how about yourself?
Okay, so I beat Final Fantasy Rebirth, and I'm not going to talk about it because Jordan's currently playing it. So it'll probably be a while before we discuss, but I really enjoyed it. I am looking forward to the third part, but that doesn't come out for, I think the estimated date was like 2027. So
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah, plenty of time. But if I had to guess, it's probably going to be on like PlayStation's new console.
Wait, hold on. So the game's not done? They're going to have another one in that Final Fantasy 7 again?
The original Final Fantasy 7 is 3 discs, so they're probably sticking to that 3-disc formula. But the weird part is the first disc is kind of where like the second remade part ends. You basically just covered what's on the first disc of Final Fantasy VII, but I'm like, man, there is so much more shit because I beat Final Fantasy VII, late 90s in about 40 hours, and I spent 70 or 80 hours, and I wasn't even doing side quests anymore on the second remake, so I've totaled like maybe 180 hours between the two parts, and so there's a lot more information going on in these games. But aside from that, played a lot of retro stuff, kind of getting ready for this episode, and I played a lot of Star Ocean 2. I'm getting really close to the end of that one, and I'm also just sitting in anticipation because I believe Stellar Blade comes out next weekend.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the whole they're going to make part 3 of Final Fantasy remake because they have all been $70. No.
Yes, so they're selling you the same. They're selling you a remake of
$210.
$210. Yeah, I know. It's some people are like, oh, it's just a DLC, but the second game is dramatically better. Not really. I'm having fun with them, so that's fine. But I do also am like, well, Jesus, it's. Don't do that for other games. I don't imagine Dead Space, but every chapter of the game was its own game. It's
yeah. I mean, I let it go for Telltale and stuff when they were doing it because each thing was I don't know, $20 maybe. So by the time you're done with it, you only paid a little bit more than a full price game. But Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're really trying to tackle the development costs because the game when they were doing, I think, Final Fantasy VII Remake, they pulled it from the studio that was doing it and started it over. So there's probably a lot of money poured into this damn game. Not my fault, but, it'd be nice if there was at least $60 or $50 or something, but...
It was revealed that on the Wolverine Wolverine game leak, is that they're going to do the same thing with the Spider-Man 3 game. They're going to sell 3 parts, 1 and 2, and then multiplayer will be its own separate thing.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes, because Last of Us was also supposed to have a standalone, or they were supposed to have a multiplayer mode or whatever, and then they canceled it, and then they're like, we're going to make a completely new experience, so it's so good that we made it its own game, and I don't even know where that is.
It's I remember that was great PR for Halo Infinite when they're like, we're separating the multiplayer and the campaign. No, you have to pay for both. We're seriously moving on from paying for sequels to just paying 3 times for the same fucking game.
Yep.
I mean, granted, I'm not saying it's a remaster or anything. They've completely remade everything. I get it, but god damn.
Yeah, and people want them to do Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm like, I think that game is 4 discs. It's don't do that. I don't want to buy it 4 times. I don't even want to buy it once though, because I don't really like that one as much. But, but that's pretty much that's been a busy week. So yeah, I guess Udon, you want to go next?
Sure. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot on my end because the only thing that I have been playing out of my mind is our monthly game that we shall not discuss. But so I've been playing that and making my eyes bleed doing that again as broken record, but continuously playing Fate Grand Order, Pokemon Masters, Konosuba
You
Fantastic Day
also
of
had a good
Pokemon.
find at a yard sale.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, again, it's not gaming related, but yeah, I went back to that yard sale. I think I mentioned it before, but there's a yard sale in my town that was doing retro game stuff. They're trying to get like an actual store going, but they had a bunch of GameCube games come in, and I picked up quite a few things because even though it's still a little pricey, they have to make money, but like they still offer them a significantly discounted prices compared to what I normally see them at. And I picked up like Luigi's Mansion, Mario Party 5, Battalion Wars, Wind Waker, and shit, what was the last one? Oh, Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's right over there on my desk. And I've played most of these games before. I'm trying to rebuild my old retro collection from the past. I actually never owned Luigi's Mansion or Wind Waker, but the other ones I have played because that Mario Party 5 is my favorite Mario Party, or at least the one that I have like the most nostalgia for.
I kind of want to try Mario or Luigi's Mansion 1 because I've only played 2.
I've played it. I've just never finished it. It was one of those games. It was like I played it because my friend had it over at his house, but I never actually like finished it. You know, the only Luigi's Mansion game I've played and finished was Dark Moon, and that was because it was on the DS. And that one was pretty
Is
good.
that the one getting a remake?
I think so. Yeah, they're like remaking it for Switch. I think. I believe it's Dark Moon. Yeah.
So this yard sale that the guy has games at, is that like, does he just acquire new ones, or does he have like a back stock that he's just put some out and then you show up, or like does he have a library you can browse?
Well, I mean, he has just a bunch of stuff out. Like I said, it's a yard sale. If you picture a yard sale, it's a yard sale with just video games.
Fold out table, cash in a bucket.
I mean, it's like as far as I'm concerned, how he's operating it, they had their own stuff, but they're like they like buy big like bundles of stuff on like Facebook Marketplace and other whereas other similar places buy them up and then resell them to everyone around, which I'm fine with because it's the whole point of it saves me the drive from doing it. They're going out of state to get some of these bundles of stuff because I follow them on Facebook, and I would shout them out or anything, but I'm not inadvertently giving away where I live, so no.
Yeah. Well, plus you don't want anyone buying up the stuff that you're trying to get.
Exactly. I was freaking the fuck out because I had so much time on Friday. My Friday shift again. I drive trucks for a living. That's vague enough, but I was gonna have my shift on Friday gets off really early, and they open their yard sale at like 3:00. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have plenty of time because my Friday I usually get off at like noon to 1 on a bad day. So I was like, all right, cool. It's good. And I get my route finished, and then my boss calls me. He's like, hey, we have a lot of people out today. I need you to help out with a route, like half of a route near you. If you could go pick some of it up. And like Mr. Incredible, I'm like, I got time. Okay. And I was like, yeah, I can help. Why not? Because God forbid I wanted to be a good person and make a little bit extra money. And I do part of the route, and I'm running out of time. And I was like, all right, dude, I got all the hot spots, but my truck is full, and I gotta go. I got to empty this, and I got to go home. And I was like, and he's like, all right, fine, that's good. And I was like, all right, cool. So I go down the road that I normally go to, and how my roads are laid out, like if one road goes down, it's like an artery in your vein clogging up because you're just fucked. I'm trying to merge onto this interstate, but a dump truck had taken the corner way too hard at the intersection and flipped over, so it closed down the entire intersection, causing me to turn around and go all the way back down the road, which takes me another 10 minutes to go the long way around, and then I had to go empty my truck, come back, and which means I had to take the long way around to get back, but going the long way around to get back, I also puts me through the school zone as they're letting out and put me behind a school bus all the way down. And I'm just like, motherfucker. And I had told my boss, I'm like, I needed to be somewhere at 3:00, like in the neighboring city. And when I left, I'm like, I can't leave going home because I go home the same way, so I have to go a longer way around to get home. And the way I went through initially is backed up because no one can go around the other way. So I had to take an even longer way to get home. And but but despite all that drama, I still was like one of the first people there, so I had the preem selection of what was there. Perks of living in the middle of fucking nowhere, I suppose. I was still a little apprehensive because GameCube stuff and rare things like that tend to bring out collectors out of the woodwork like cockroaches. So,
Yeah.
such as myself. But that's more IRL stuff. But yeah, and I've been tested them all, and they're all working fine. So that's all I got on my end. Like I said, I have been gaming a lot. I just can't talk about most of it. That'll be for next week.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Edwin. What have you been doing?
Well, I finally got to level 25 in Helldivers, so I don't really have that much reason besides getting medals to go back and play it. So I can mostly focus on Cyberpunk.
Mhm.
I was like, well, I got to a certain point in Cyberpunk where I literally just watched my character get railed by River Ward, the detective. So that was great to see for 2 minutes. And then I was like, it feels like you're getting robbed because you have two romantic choices, and then that one lasted for 2 minutes, and then the other one with Judy lasted for like 30 seconds. So it's like, cool. Well, I feel like I was robbed in that one, but whatever. But besides Cyberpunk, just messing around.
You can have a romance with Pan Am as well.
Yeah, so the thing about Cyberpunk, it might come off as like, oh, this is just like another Fallout or Skyrim or whatever. No, that shit is complicated as hell. So it's like I've been like skimming through like some like the like endings and like quests and stuff. It was like literally the second you start playing the game, every single one of your choices matters. Like for the rest of the game, pretty much. And then including your character gender and a voice, which is weird. But apparently, the romance that you get in the game is dependent on whether you're a boy or a girl, or if your voice is a male or female voice. So it's weird. So it's like some romance is only available if you have both a female body type and female voice.
Oh, so okay. So are you playing as a female then?
Yeah, I'm playing as a female with a female voice, so my only options are Judy and River.
Oh, okay. Because I was confused for a second. I was like, I was confused of where you were going with that for a second. I was like, yes, and I was like, oh, he might be playing a girl then. My character is a male, so
Yeah.
Okay. I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, it's like the whole game is like you only have 4, and then only 2 of them will ever be available. Is like one gay and the other one straight, more or less. But besides Cyberpunk, I still haven't even started DLC because I'm trying to hit level 40, which is like the halfway point in level. So
Yeah.
I haven't started that yet. And then it was like I was also playing. I started playing the monthly game yesterday. Not super far, but it's only taking me like an hour to get through each significant part, so it's not terrible.
Well, it's unlike last game. I'm the one that's going to be left behind. You guys have way more familiarity with what we're doing, so.
Yeah. But besides that, I was like, yesterday I also did download 3 new games because of Nintendo's indie sale. So I now have on the Switch Cult of the Lamb, Hades, and Sea of Stars. So
Play
I'll
Sea
have
of
to start
Stars
one
first.
of them. Huh?
Play Sea of Stars first.
Well, I was considering Sea of Stars, but it's like I think that's like a much longer game, and then I had to look up.
That's why.
It's just like Hades will probably be the last one because that one's like more of a Dark Souls kind of game where
Well, it's a
like
roguelike, so
Yeah,
it
it's a
doesn't necessarily have like an end kind of thing. Like there is an end to the story, but it's meant to be played a bunch.
yeah, well, it's meant to be played a bunch, but like the way you play the game is like you get further and then you die, then you upgrade yourself, then you start again, and then you get even further. So it's kind of like my Apocalypse phone game that I've been playing.
That is a roguelike, yes. that is the definition of a roguelike.
You died, you come back, you're stronger. You die, you come back, you're stronger.
Repeat until you get bored.
I forgot what the term was, but besides that, I was looking at the Cult of the Lamb because I hardly know anything about that game, other than it looks like a satanic cult version of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, basically.
But apparently it's not that super long of a game, but I had to look it up because I didn't know what the DLC was for, but it's all just cosmetic, so I didn't bother buying it. So I might start with that one first and then go for Sea of Stars because it's not roguelike. So
I still got to play
that's probably my plan.
Chain of Echoes or something like that.
I don't know what that
Sea
is.
of Stars
It's
in some
another
century.
like Sea of Stars is a like homage to like Chrono Trigger and other classic like Super Nintendo JRPGs, but like mostly Chrono Trigger. And then I think Chain of Memories, or I think that's what it's called.
That's a Kingdom Hearts game.
No, not Chain of Memories. Let me see.
Well, the reason I got
Chain
Sea
of
of Stars
Echoes.
is because I saw you playing, and I was like, "This game looks awesome."
Chain of Echoes is another one.
Are
where
you?
it's
I'm
like
sure your Game Pass subscription has expired if you've only done the trial version, right? Or have you decided to like continue paying for Game Pass?
No, I was like, I got the trial. I was like, "Cool, this is good enough for Master Chief Collection." That's
okay,
it.
because I was about to say if you kept paying for it, Sea of Stars on Game Pass.
Yeah, but it's like I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I can get this on Xbox. So I was like, but it's like it's Sea of Stars and it's like pixelated.
It runs
like one of those
fine
old
on
games.
Switch.
Yeah, might as well just get it on there, and it's on discount, so
yeah,
might as well get it while I can.
Chained Echoes is what it's called, and it's a game that's very similar to Sea of Stars, a pixel art RPG game, except for it's also a mix of like Xenogears because there's giant robots and stuff that you can get and pilot. So, or I guess Xenosaga for Udon.
Speaking of, I mean, you didn't say Xenoblade X, but I was just like, I thought to this week because again, I think it was this week that they finally announced that all the servers for the Wii U and 3DS are dead, and I was just like, does that mean I can't play Xenoblade X anymore?
That depends if like a fan base like made a new server for the 3DS and stuff like that, because that's like I saw memes about. I was like, oh, Nintendo ended its servers. Time for the fan base to make their own.
Yeah.
Time for the lawyers to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a joke because IGN put out an article saying like if you wanted to keep playing, here's a service called Pretendo, and everyone was like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut up!"
Yeah. Teacher forgot to assign homework. I hate that guy. Yeah.
But the buying those games were the last thing that I did this week. So, Krenna, Jordan.
All right. Well, on my side, same kind of deal. Nothing too new about me on the Helldiver side. Besides that, I actually finally unlocked Helldive. I didn't get to try it out, so it's kind of like one of those presents of getting my shit pushed in. But I'm not really in the mood right now because I just want to play other things at the time being. But that is going to be on the side for just basically get myself to see exactly how much more difficult can this shit really get. So stay tuned for that. I was playing another good game of Disgaea. I finally jumped on that one finally. Started getting that going. Had to show that to Edwin to see what he was missing out on from me. I was like trying to explain it to him for such a long period of time, and I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to show you what it is. So he just take all that out. So jumped on that.
It does look cool.
It's okay. I mean, if you've already ran through it before, and I mean somebody walks you through it, it's actually quite quick to pick up. But of course, there's a little bit of weird gimmicks here and there that you got to know about playing the game, and it sometimes can be a little bit confusing. But I played it tons of times, so it's like very quick to pick up and start. And then I played, because we were going into like talking about other things of games that were, I guess, interesting. One I found was just like, oh shit! It just brought up a little side of mine was the Bourne game, because it was like, God damn, it's Jason Bourne, and I just started playing that one, and then we're running through, and I was just like, okay, look how fucking weird this goes. Normal guy with a fucking turtleneck just starts running around town, and he's like, I'm gonna go after this weird fisherman, and this motherfucker starts whipping out capoeira, like, what the fuck? And then you're trying to fight him, going through chasing his ass, and like, you knock his ass out like, I don't know, 15, 20 times, and then eventually he gets tired and passes out or something after throwing his ass through a table, knocking him through some glass, hitting him with a pipe and shit. Guy doesn't go down. I
didn't hear no bell.
Yeah.
I'm built different.
Literally, it's just like, Jesus Christ, man, you gonna fucking tap out? And he's like, no, man, we don't do that here. It's just
I'm pretty sure some of the things that you did to some of those characters. Like, I'm pretty sure any normal person would have been dead by this point.
This
Yeah,
guy,
they're super villains.
yeah, no, he was definitely.
I can't remember. Is that game? Are you actually playing as Matt Damon? Is
No.
it based on the movie, or is it just like its own like game?
It said somebody else's Jason Bourne. So it was. I don't think it is the same one for Matt.
Not the
Damon.
Jeremy Renner one.
No.
So yeah, that's funny that it's like it's a movie game, but it's not a movie game, but it's kind of a movie game. There is a movie.
Yeah,
It's tangentially related.
Yeah,
yeah. So
we got to cover those at some point too, because I was going through some of mine.
Yes, you keep talking about it. We'll do it eventually.
Yep.
I know you want to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get to that point later on. But
Please.
and then finally, for some weird ass reason, I was just talking with my kids, trying to like tell them, hey, we can't play Fortnite. The Switch is dead. I can't do nothing. After like constantly telling them, like, I'm not lying to you. I picked the shit up off the dock and it fucking works. I'm like, God damn it. So it looks like I've been lying to my children for weeks.
Turns out they're not broken. They just need to be charged.
No, it's just the one. The other ones are still fucked. But the big one that was like the big one that was allowing them to play the Fortnite because of the big ass update works now. So I was like,
oh yeah, that's right. They did do like a 7 gig update or some shit. That's a
Yeah.
lot for the Switch because its
Yeah.
base memory is like 40.
it was something. But I was just like, oh look, okay, now I'm a bad parent because I just fucking lied to my child. It almost seems that way. But I was like, hey, you can pick up Fortnite now and you can play with your friends and stuff. She was ecstatic about that, and kind of just
They don't listen to this, do they?
yeah, no, they don't.
Not yet.
Not yet, but yeah, it's. I was happy to see that they finally got that shit going for themselves, and now I can get myself back into my gaming stuff without feeling like I'm just telling them no that we can't play Switch. So that's finally done. But other than that, that's all I got. So since we discussed what we did for the week, let's give the audience some gaming news. Corey, go ahead.
All right, I got no.
Shit sucks.
So
Moving on.
This was something that was kind of circulating from like a recent study of the top 10 games across PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. And I'll kind of just go through them one at a time. But I wanted to do this blind because of the topic that we're talking about is like trash games that we love, blah, blah, blah. This was from 2023's like data, but it's still interesting. So the top 10 games on PC in 2023 are Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Counter-Strike 2, and Global Offensive. The Sims 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, basically just all of the Modern Warfare games in Warzone, League of Legends, Valorant, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Rocket League. And the reason why this is funny is because all of those games are old. The top 10 games last year were games that have been out for a long time. And so it's funny to see these games that, like they're releasing these juggernauts that cost, $300 million to develop, and they're not even the top games. Because people aren't buying them like they're hoping. They're just continuously playing these games. Because I think the topic was like, developers are getting shocked that players are still playing the games that were designed to be played forever. And so they're not jumping ship to play any of the other ones that they make that are designed to be played forever.
I mean, what metric is that going off of? Playtime, player count, like money spent? Like what metric is it going off of?
It's pulled from like I guess like active player base. So I would think that it's not like new, like it's not based on income. It's based off of like continuous players. Like we on Steam, if you use Steam Spy or whatever, you could see like what the average player base is or whatever. So there's these giant communities that are still playing like, Fortnite. And Fortnite's not necessarily the oldest game, but, obviously it's number one, but it's like, Destiny 2 is not on this list. And other games that are like designed for me to play, free to play games that are out there, nobody's like people are still playing, League of Legends, obviously, but like, how many other MOBAs have come out and then no one's playing any of the new ones. They just keep playing that game that came out like 10 years ago. It's kind of interesting because the market seems to be kind of grumpy about this, because, you know, it's like, why do I need to get a new one when I have the one you made?
But it's like most of those games you said are all also like free to play as well, and
Yeah.
again, it's like you say old. I guess I mean I guess it's like I think about when Fortnite came out. I guess when I think of old, I generally think of retro games. Anything that's like newer than like a fucking Xbox 360. You know, I understand what you're saying. It's just like it's free to play. The casual people who aren't really quote unquote, you know, gamers, all gravitate towards those games, so it boosts out the population. And those people are definitely not going to like play multiple games. And it's just like there's only so many people to play, and that's like also overall because it's like if we go back to when Pal World came out, Pal World was like topping the
I think it had 2 million.
Yeah, it's like they had a ton of the charts. They were topping the charts for a while. I mean, just didn't last, you know, forever, but they were up there for like at least solid like 2 to 3 weeks, I think.
I feel like that's
people. So
I feel like Power World like skyrocketed because of how long it takes to get a new mainline Pokemon game, and then like between the time of the last one and the announcement of a new one, it just takes way too long. I was like, I don't care how shit this game is going to be. It's a Pokemon game. I'm going to buy it.
Well, it's it couldn't have come at a better time because everybody was so disappointed with like Scarlet and Violet that Power World was like a breath of fresh ass. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
It's like I don't think people talk about it enough because it's like it's a Pokemon clone. It's a Pokemon clone. I'm like, I have played Pokemon. I have played Ark Survival Evolved. That game is way closer to Ark Survival Evolved than Pokemon. It's like if they had a baby. And what people don't know from that other side, unless you've played, you know, Ark Survival Evolved, they've been already fucking their own shit over. So that population also like helped beef out Pal World's numbers. I know Ark isn't like the biggest game ever or anything, but people like me, when they came out with Ascended and they're kind of like shitting the bed with everything, you know, we look at Pal World, it's like, oh, this is Ark, but what we wanted from the game. Cool.
Yeah. But, and like, I just think it's funny because they're, you know, we're playing like games that have been out for a while instead of anything new. Now, it's not really shifted because it is like it wouldn't be based on income because obviously the older games with all the player base would be making more money than a game that came out like a month ago, but like active user base is pretty high. So, you know, and I think that oddly enough, like Asian and South American countries probably help push those numbers because those primarily play a lot of the live service free to play games. I know that they're really popular. Like PUBG, that one was pretty huge, but PUBG isn't even on that list, which is pretty wild to me because you'd think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation is 1 to 10 in this order: Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare with Warzone and all that jazz, EA Sports, FIFA, I guess FIFA Championships, Roblox, Rocket League, Minecraft, Rainbow Six Siege, which that kind of surprises me that people are playing that. Apex Legends and Fall Guys.
I can't believe Fall Guys is still alive.
It's all free stuff, and it's all just like this is because again, casual gamers. They're
well,
just
I don't
like,
think Tom Clancy's. I don't think the Rainbow Six game is free. That's the surprising one, I guess. Same thing with Grand Theft Auto. Like, but people there was such a popular launch that people already own it. So it's like, okay, you know. Yeah. I don't even know if those games were given out as like a free game because this is specifically PlayStation. I don't know about how Game Pass is going to work, but Xbox is next with, not surprised, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, Roblox, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, Starfield, oddly enough, Apex Legends, and FIFA 23.
I mean, again, it's just like most of those games as well all have crossplay, so they're all sharing the same pool of players essentially.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then for the Switch, Fortnite. So Fortnite just dominated the entire like chart. Fortnite, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I still need to play, I hear a lot of good things about
Looks
it.
good.
Mario Kart 8, which I agree.
It's
I still play that. I still play that damn game. It's so fun. Minecraft, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Fuck
No.
off. Y'all people need to find something better to play.
Play-
Liars.
No, I don't
Fall
think they're
Guys.
lying. I just think people have really shitty tastes in video games.
Fall Guys, Animal Crossing New Horizons. This one is very surprising. Hogwarts Legacy.
Wow, on the
What?
Switch?
Yeah, the one that looks like trash. Like that
Ew.
one literally
It
looks like
isn't
shit.
even open world either.
I
It's
liked
like-
playing it. I liked playing it on my PS5 where it looked good. The Switch
like,
one, if
RAM?
you watch any comparison videos, it looks like you set your PC to like potato mode because it is so bad.
Well, I remember
I can't even believe they crammed it onto the Switch.
You know, I remember the friend of mine I was talking about tried to show me Ark Evolved with freaking Switch, and it
Ew.
looked horrible. So I can only
Yeah.
imagine that they're still trying to get it out for Hogwarts. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. There's too much stuff in that game. It blows my mind. It reminds me of when they were putting like Assassin's Creed and shit on like the Wii. And the number
what-
10 is Smash Bros. Ultimate.
No surprise.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
if Smash Bros. Wasn't on the Nintendo list, I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's like the game that people play all the time competitively on the Switch, like more so than like Splatoon, which Splatoon is not on this list, which is also kind of interesting.
Again, I'm not surprised. Splatoon, I feel like, is actually. I just you reminded me. I actually need to put a note somewhere. They came out with a new campaign DLC for that not too long ago. I need to go buy that.
Is that the one that brought the first game back into the newest one?
No, that was
Or
just
the
some
wasteland thing?
that was
What does that
lame.
even-
All
what
they
does that
did
even
was
mean?
yeah, well, all they did so like in Splatoon 3, every Splatoon you have like a different hub world, and so in Splatoon 3, I forget. I think it's not Inkopolis, it's something else. It's like the outskirts or whatever the fuck. But they just came out with this retarded DLC where it's like, you want to stand in the hub world of Inkopolis from Splatoon 1? And everyone was like, no. And they're like, well, good news, you can pay us $30 to do that.
Yeah.
But then in the second half of that is actual campaign DLC, and unironically, I play Splatoon pretty much only for the campaign because I think it's really fun, and their DLC has always been fucking top notch. So
Yeah, the damn Splatoon commercial or whatever they did, where there was that rap battle with the two characters from the old game and the new one. I couldn't have cringed any harder. I'm like, do you have to do the whole song? Can you just imply this? I don't. It's so. I don't know what the marketing team is doing, but I'm just watching this whole thing. I'm like, can you get to the next fucking game, please?
I mean,
don't
I
wanna-
like Splatoon for its style, and like I said, it's campaign, but it's cool. Everything's super hip and fresh. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, hello, fellow children. Yeah,
Yeah.
my hat is on backwards. You know, it's like I get it. I like the art style of the game and stuff. I don't really like the game, so to speak.
I love the
Well,
game. I think the game is great gameplay. I just don't really care for the competitive. I'm the weird person who just thinks it's really good for single player. That's it.
Yeah, like I don't think it's a bad game inherently. I just like it's not for me. Like I remember when the first one came out. I think everybody came over and we were playing it on the Wii U, and like it's just the funniest thing is my apartment had a bunch of like grown ass adults in there just or whatever because the music and then finally my friend's like, what are we doing? I'm like, this game is so infectious, but like I just can't like I don't know, like it's fun, but like there's other games that I would play. I don't bash it because I don't think it's a bad.
It's fun, but I'd rather be playing anything else.
Well, no,
fun,
it's like
but-
I can respect what it is and the player base that it has because I like the art style and everything, and the music is good and it's catchy. It's just like I don't know, it didn't hook me in like it hooked in a lot of other people. But I don't think it's a shitty game. I just don't actively play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because it's like it's funny to see that all of these games that are pooled from like, and yes, that was like late 2023. I think it's like a summer 2023 poll. But the reason why it was interesting is like the player base of the top playing games or played games, I should say, is games that are older than the one. Like Last of Us 2 isn't on that list. That game has been out, and that was like the crown jewel of the PlayStation.
Well,
and,
people aren't going to play that for months, though. You're going to play it like a couple
yeah,
times,
but
and you're going to be done.
and they probably would have if they actually had their deal or their whatever that multiplayer mode was that they were hoping for. But like, it's like games are so come and go now.
Yeah.
And it's even Dark Souls isn't on that list, which is kind of crazy because that game is played a bunch. Like I play Dark Souls. Like sometimes if I'm bored, I'll just throw it in and just be like, all right, I'm gonna beat this game real quick. And it's crazy to not see any From Soft games on there either. And those are multiplayer.
I guess not seeing Elden Ring is a bit unusual, I would suppose.
Yeah, because that was like a hot topic when that game dropped. Like everyone was playing it, everyone was talking about it.
Like everyone would be playing it in anticipation for the DLC, because that's kind of what I did when they said like, oh, it's going to be out on New Year's, it's going to be out on February, and regardless of the fact that it wasn't, I was still playing it, like preparing a new save file on a regular first like new game.
I'm not even going to touch
it.
it.
Plus,
I'm going to wait till the DLC comes out, because where I'm at, I'm right. I'm fighting Godfrey or whatever, or the dude who, like Hulk Hogan, basically. I'm fighting him.
No.
And I know that the DLC usually fits in somewhere before that, because there was one instance where I was playing Dark Souls 3 and they dropped like DLC, but I just started a New Game Plus, and I'm like, God, I have to play this game for like 6 hours before I can get to the DLC.
Well,
I mean, unless... Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's like that. That's why I was like, I literally just beat the game. I went to the highest recommended level for ending the first game, which is like 150. It's like 125 between 125 and 150. So like the entire map is unlocked for me in that new file, and then all I have to do is just figure out where the DLC is, and I can start it. But there is also like leaks saying that it doesn't matter what level you are, because regardless of the fact that the DLC is like somewhere mid-game, there's going to be like some kind of reset or adjustment where the DLC will scale to whatever it is that you're at.
Well, is it like a Dreamscape? Because I'm going to end up entering the DLC in a New Game Plus, because that's kind of where my character is.
Yeah, well, I think based on what everyone has been saying, it's like you go through like a timescape into like a past or future. Mm-hmm. Whereas like either you will be in the past where like the Erd tree is still growing, or in the future where the Erd tree is regrowing because you had to burn it.
Well,
so it's like one of those.
Well, unless Ronnie's involved, I don't really give a fuck.
They're going to introduce a new waifu. Don't worry.
Also an option, but then I have to make a new character.
Yeah, I still want the Falling Stars ending or whatever that was. I still need to do the ending where you go talk to the three finger, or was it a 3-finger god, the one that's like down there in the depths.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's Fury. Like the easy thing was like, which is pretty much what I did. I played the whole game twice, but on the last one I save stated just so I can get the last 2 endings that I needed, so I didn't have to play it a third time. So it's just like I did the first one, then the second one, re-downloaded my save from the cloud, and then just redid a different ending. But
nice.
so it's like Ronnie's quest, and then the Holy Order, which is like the skinny sun face guy, and then the 3-fingered one.
Nice. Well, that's pretty much all I got. I felt like it would roll in nicely to the old games being played, because we're going to talk about the guilty pleasures. But do we want to do our poll first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. So the polls that we had, which was, which console has the most garbage game that you love? We had Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, Xbox 360. Now, I don't know if somebody's just fucking with us, but this time, instead of saying we have a tie, everything was on that list that everybody chose was maxed. It was everybody matched, so there was an actual Nintendo Wii,
all
PlayStation. No, not all the way, except for Nintendo DS was the only one that wasn't. You had the winner of Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, and Xbox 360. What do you guys think about that?
So the DS didn't win any of that. That one has a lot of trash games, but that's okay. So I don't know exactly how we want to start this.
I don't know,
but
Every console has shit on it.
Every single console does have shitty games on it. Objectively shitty games and games that like are people just hate them, but it's like you know you might just be bad at it or something.
Yeah,
but
to
be
clarify,
fair,
No, go ahead.
I feel like saying this is going to like ruin my gamer cred, but like. And I'll drag Jordan in on this too, but we used to play Bubsy a lot.
God damn it, Corey. No. Corey, you asshole.
That game is notoriously dog shit. And Jordan has or had Bubsy 3D on PS4.
Oh my god.
God damn it, no. Oh shit, man. I was a little kid.
But it blows my mind because DS is like a gimmicked console, much like the Wii, which I'm not surprised the Wii's up there, but like gimmicked consoles always have shitty things on it because there's so many stupid people trying to take advantage of this, like the mechanic it introduces. It's also a pain in the ass for devs to develop for because they have to somehow introduce like PS3. The first game they had was Lair, and that game sucked. But that game was built to use the 6-axis.
Nobody wanted it.
And the only thing I want to do is turn that off because I don't want to aim with my controller. It's the same thing with Breath of the Wild. It's like I don't want to aim with my controller. I don't want to aim. Was it Skyward Sword? Like I played with the Pro controller. It's if I can turn the motion controls off, I do it before I even give them a chance. Like I don't want to play them.
And to like clarify the question and topic at hand for everyone to be super clear, these are games that you will look at and say, this game. You will hold it up and present it to a crowd and say, "Look at this. Look upon me. This is dog shit, but I love it." Like, do not copy this. Do not emulate this. But I like playing it regardless. It's not games that, you hear people say it's like it's shit and whatnot, but you think is good. You will look at this game and agree with everyone that it is shit, but you will still play it because there's something about it that's going to draw you back. Some abuse of quality.
Well, it's just like we're just making fun of Bubsy, and then I still remember this is like I was like, oh yeah, that game's garbage. Wasn't that remade like 2 years ago?
Yes, and something that's really interesting about Bubsy is I believe he was voiced by the same dude who voices the main character in Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh god.
That's wild.
Paid him a lot.
You win some, you lose some.
He also voices Brawly, or he used to.
Brawly.
Which I'm like, that was Bubsy? The guy who's like, what could possibly go wrong?
Bubsy!
I don't know.
Do we want to start with like Nintendo Wii, I guess? Like which kind of games they might have that's kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Let's just pick a console and then like go through it, I suppose.
See like what's the worst game in each console that we listed?
Anything I can think of, I suppose.
Yeah, so we'll start with Nintendo Wii then. Let's go ahead with that one.
Go for it.
God. Well, a guilty pleasure from the Wii would probably be the Dragon Quest game. I know that it sucks, but I just like Dragon Quest. So like that's the only reason why I'll play it. But there's a Dragon Quest game that's like an on-rail shooter sword swinging thing, and it's I don't even know if it's fun. I just like looking at it.
I don't know if it's fun.
The music is good. It's like it has a couple things that are I'll sit down. But like
now, what makes it bad though? Like what makes it bad, and what good quality, or at least quality that you find like interesting about it keeps you coming back despite the fact it's dog shit?
I think it's just like the thing I like about it is that I like the world of Dragon Quest, so I like the characters. So I just like the character designs are fun, the music is really fun. So it's just kind of like a feel good thing, but also like I don't have to like dive in to a Dragon Quest game that takes like 100 hours to beat because it's kind of this on rails type thing. So it's accessible for like a quick play instead of having to be like, all right, I'm going to boot up this RPG and just dump my whole month into it. Like I like the way everything looks. It's just, I understand that swinging the remote is kind of just I don't know, the gameplay isn't fun to me, but everything else is, and that's why I'll like sit there and play it. If that makes sense.
It's hard because I honestly think the Wii, at least for the topic that we're trying to cover, is like kind of weird because like the Wii, yes, is inundated with tons of shovelware, but those are just games that are shit that no one likes. But then like the good shit on the Wii is good. Like I'm genuinely trying to rack my brain if I had anything on the Wii that I thought that was objectively shit, but I actually liked, enjoyed playing. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I only I was really picky about my Wii games.
Were we talking about, well, not Brawl. Were we talking about Brawl with the tripping?
Well, yeah, I mean, people think that's a bad Smash game, but if I would never think that people would stand up and say Brawl is like a bad game objectively. Yes, tripping is fucking stupid, but it also has Subspace Emissary, which is fucking awesome. So,
yeah.
I can't think of any Nintendo Wii games. I really wasn't too fond of that system. Not on my side anyway, so I can't really think of anything.
Okay, so I have two. I completely forgot my entire library for the Nintendo Wii, so I had to kind of like look up a list of Nintendo Wii games. And then I looked at them and like I remember two, and I love them both. I'll start with one. So it's like Sonic Riders. It's like, so pretty much if you thought that Sonic driving a go-kart was pretty dumb.
Sonic Riders is cool.
No, it was like, how about hoverboards, skateboards? It's like cool. That game's fucking really hard to play.
It is really hard. It's broken, but it's cool. All right.
I mean, I would almost go out on a limb saying that any franchise that has a karting game, the karting game is not going to be Mario Kart, and therefore it's not really that good. But there are some outliers.
Yeah, and Sonic Riders is one of them because they managed to get enough sales to like justify a second game. Zero gravity.
Unfortunately, the more I thought about games for today's topic, four came to mind very prominently. Three of them are Sonic games, and I feel like Sonic is unfortunately in this heavily in this category. I had nothing on the Wii particularly. It's mostly on GameCube that I have this grievance with. But Sonic just has this thing where I don't understand how they haven't figured out how game design works, but they're being carried by the fact everyone really likes the characters and everything looks good and the music's always fucking awesome.
Because he has personality.
I'll agree with you. His personality is great. I just didn't agree that you saying Mario had no personality. That's bullshit.
Not again.
Well, Sonic has more because he's actually expresses it and he talks.
Designed to be a dickhead.
Pretty much. If you watch Sonic Boom, that show is just him being a dickhead to everyone. I was like, I don't know how you can deal with this dude on an island. But
actually, come to think of it, for the Wii, I don't. It wasn't me, but I'm gonna throw my friend under the bus here, and he knows who he is when I say this. I think I either had or I rented Call of Duty World at War for the Wii, and he came over and he was sitting there playing it using the fucking zapper, the stupid little thing where you put the nunchuck in the Wii remote into this vaguely gun looking thing, playing it online. And I was just looking at him like, are you having fun? He's like, yeah, it's pretty fun. And he sat there and played it that whole night. I think we were in middle school or something. But I was just like, I didn't really like it, but he was satisfied. And don't get me wrong, it was World at War isn't the greatest graphics wise, but on the Wii it's still worse because it's modern day Switch.
It's kind of shitty because World at War is one of the better Call of Duty games that have been out.
But you're playing that thing with motion controls using the zapper online. It looks like the most jankest thing in the world, like a monkey trying to paint or something.
I mean, the zapper did come with an actually decent game, which is Link's crossbow training.
Crossbow training, God.
I was I don't know why. It's people say oh, I put this on par with Wii Sports. It was you better.
The crossbow training is done in the Twilight Princess game too, which is interesting. That's the. I mean, I guess Skyward Sword wasn't even out yet, so.
No, it was Twilight Princess was a launch title.
Yeah, no, Twilight Princess was a launch. I bought I spent probably $700 on the release of the Wii because I got 2 consoles, 2 copies of Zelda, like the Pro Controller, like
Why?
Nintendo points. Well, I was buying one for me and then one for like my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
So, but that was like me and Jordan were standing outside at like midnight and it was like -2 because, we used to live in Alaska. And we were just outside of Fred Meyer's in a line of like 120 people, just freezing to death while we were waiting for them to let us in.
God damn, that
I
shit
want
sucked.
the
Yeah, we were taking turns, like alternating who gets to sit in the car. Remember the guy who drove up to the lane, he drove up and was like nerds and left, and everybody was like, it's probably because the line's too long.
Well, I mean, before I forget, it was like the other game besides Sonic Riders, which was still a fun racing game. The other game is like did so well considering the first one is my least favorite and it was probably the most boring. But it's a series of games, not just the second one. So they justified maybe 3 or 4 games, but it's My Sims Agents.
Oh God, My Sims anything, Jesus Christ.
My Sims?
Yes, My Sims Agents. It's like a really dumbed down version of My Sims with like actual story.
Sims, but worse.
Oh my God.
But I was like, I bought it again. I walked into GameStop with the intention of buying like old games because I always see them on there. So it was like I went in, I walked out with Super Paper Mario for the Wii and My Sims Agents, and playing My Sims Agents again. I was like, damn, this game looks like shit, but I love it.
The cover of that would not get me to pick it up.
No, because I think the other copy was Angie's. So it's like I need a copy of my own. So it's just like I just got my own. It's like, wow, this game it's like it looks terrible, but it still looks cute, and it's just actually fun to play.
Again. It's like a weird like middle ground of like almost Animal Crossing, but not quite.
Well, like the whole game
like almost is Sims, but not quite.
Well, the game is like The Sims, this one specifically because it's like 3. There's My Sims, which is probably the like a dumbed down version of The Sims, and that's literally it. Then there's My Sims Kingdom, which is pretty much you just go around like the world and then just build like places for everyone depending on what their preference is. And then My Sims Agents is probably the most story driven, whereas like you play as a detective and then you play as like a rising detective, and you just go around solving mysteries. So pretty much a Scooby-Doo version of My Sims. Yeah. But it's actually pretty decent, and I actually like it.
No, you can't say that. You have to acknowledge it's shit. You can't say it's pretty decent.
No, it's decent. It was like, and to justify buying it again and playing it once more, but it's like I would not put that in my top 10.
Neither would I.
It's better than the other 2 of its games, but compared to like anything else I'd rather play, I'd leave it on the shelf.
Any other games we got going on for the Wii?
Not the Wii. Like I said, I know there's a bunch of shovelware, but like I think of the Wii, and the only two like games I owned on the Wii that I remember was fucking Smash Brothers Brawl and like Pokemon Battle Revolution, and both of those were good. So
all right,
I don't have anything to say.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump on to PlayStation 2 then.
Oof.
I can jump in on one of mine because this was on a lot of consoles, and I'm sure that it had the same issues on PS2 that it had on GameCube, because I primarily played it on GameCube, but actually recently just picked it up again for the PlayStation 2 because it was sitting in front of me. Just gonna start the whole, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, fucking Sonic the Hedgehog sucks. Their games usually are really bad, but we're not talking about Sonic, we're talking about Shadow the Hedgehog.
It's my favorite.
Voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, hell yeah. Unironically, he'll be great.
Yeah, he sounds like him, so I think it'll work.
Yeah.
What an edgy character. I'm so glad you brought this game up.
Oh, yeah, no, it's just like, because here, like, unironically, Well, I'm not a Sonic mega fan. Never have been. I did have my Sonic phase, and as a middle schooler, early high schooler, I was an edge. I was a wee edgy boy. I could cut you with my edge, and I really liked Shadow because I was cringe. Um, but I 100%ed Shadow the Hedgehog on the GameCube, and I unironically really like that game. But and most Sonic games, at least for me, all have the same issues when it comes to me not liking them. Where it's like sometimes when you press a button, it might do what it's supposed to do, and it's like it's been how many years, and Sonic Team still hasn't figured out how grinding on rails works. But they keep putting it in every fucking game. But so Shadow the Hedgehog, again, for anyone who doesn't know what this meme of a game is, they're like, all right, everyone likes Sonic, right? He's a cool, upbeat guy. Then you have Shadow, which is, he's a darker version of fucking Sonic. It's like, what if we gave him a gun? It's like, and then they have this fucking heavy rock intro. He's driving on a motorcycle, shooting dudes with a fucking MP5.
It was the most badass thing of my childhood.
No, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing imaginable, but it's so cringe and it's so terrible. And when you're watching the trailer and you're like, Shadow says damn. Ooh, he said damn, he cursed, he swore. He's so cool. But so like the game is like it's think of like any 3D Sonic game, but with guns and somehow shittier than that. And the game has like a bunch of recycled assets because basically the game has like a ton of different endings, and the whole point of the game is to play it over and over and over again to get all the endings, and then you get the true ending. But I want to say most general audiences will probably want to kill themselves after the first time through. And I think there's like, Edwin, help me out here. There's like something like 12 endings, right? Because like at the end, there's like 2 choices and there's like 4 stages with 2 endings each. I don't know, something like that. It like splits off into like 4 branches or something.
The longer you play the game, the more it branches off because it's like this. It's like this weird side triangle where it's like in the very beginning you have 1 square, and then on the other end you have like what you said, 12 squares. So the thing about Shadow the Hedgehog is that you pretty much pick your own story. However, it doesn't do a really good job at it because halfway through you can be playing as a good guy and then go suddenly evil. So it has this weird arc in like your own story because it tells you it shows you like all the black squares where it's like, oh, this is like the part you haven't reached or anything, and this is like your options. But it's just weird because you can go from good to bad, and then somehow you just get like an ending that doesn't really correlate to what you have been doing. Yeah. So it's like you can go full good or full bad, and it'll actually make sense, or you can just go neutral, and then no one really cares. It's just Shadow doing his own thing.
Yeah, so the story is like nonsensical. It might as well not exist. But the Spark Notes verse is that Shadow has amnesia. He doesn't know what's going on. A giant alien demon army invaded Earth, and the demon army general. Oh, go ahead.
And I can justify the amnesia part because this was like a note from the developers that Shadow was not supposed to exist after Sonic Adventure 2. When he fell off the arc, he was actually supposed to die, but apparently people loved him so much that it was like, well, I guess we can milk this, and then so they made Shadow the Hedgehog to justify. I was like, oh yeah, he's back.
He was too edgy to die.
Yeah, it was like, well, the amnesia is like probably like damage to his brain after falling into
remember, Shadow the Hedgehog is actually in continuity with Sonic Heroes, which I'll bring up later because Sonic Heroes was the first game that brought him back after the fact.
Okay, but in Sonic Heroes, it's like, oh, did you know Shadow's a robot? It was like, when?
Well, he had amnesia in that game. He basically just joins Omega and Rouge just because they needed the game to happen. They didn't really explore it until Shadow the Hedgehog, but that was when he first came back. But what Edwin was saying is how it branches in every level. You have the good option, the bad option, the neutral option. The neutral option basically being like just reach the end of the stage. Bad option is the bad and good options switch from like finding a certain amount of items, killing all the opposite teams, bad guys or good guys throughout the stage, or some other random trivial thing. But your typical Sonic like 3D platformer shit rears its ugly head constantly, because it's like homing attack might work, might not. It's just like it might work, it might not. You press the button, and the inconsistency of how the controls work is really awful. The guns, they kind of vaguely will shoot in the direction of the person you're aiming at. You don't really aim. It's not like a first-person shooter. It's like if you're looking in their direction, you have to hope that your AI is like actually going to aim at them when you shoot. And I distinctly remember those missions where you have to kill like every enemy of one faction. Like I got stuck because I couldn't find this enemy, and I was like, I've been through this level, and it has a mechanic where you can like reset to whatever checkpoint you want throughout the level before you like end the mission. And I kept going and going and going until I realized the fucking enemy had either spawned or clipped into the wall, and I couldn't fucking get at him. So I had to restart the entire mission, and it happened like 2 or 3 fucking times before I was actually able to kill all the enemies. And it's only because I saved like Shadow's like super blow everything up on screen for that one particular section, so that even if he was clipped into the wall, I'd kill him. But it's just like it's nostalgia mainly why I like that game.
Mm-hmm.
I just like being an edgy Shadow the Hedgehog with a pistol. It's ridiculous, but it just makes me giggle every time I play that game.
That's kind of what they did with a lot of games on PS2, where they were like, "How do we make this cooler? Give him a gun."
Yeah. But it's like it's so different because it's fucking, it's not Sonic, but like Shadow the Hedgehog's this big, doofy, cartoony looking hedgehog with his fucking giant, disgusting, one eye with 2 pupil design, and it's just like give him a fucking Magnum. It's just like what the fuck? That's some fan fiction shit. Because Sonic Team is just completely insane sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like the one issue that they have with the Sonic games is like the sizing of models. Where like, it was like, the human guns, they're all like normal size. So it's like, oh yeah, Shadow can hold on to this. But then like all the alien weapons are like the size of Shadow. So it's like, it was like when he runs with the alien weapon, it's like constantly clipping either through him or through the ground. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it
just looks silly.
Yeah, it's just so stupid because either like this, it's too long or it's like too large. So it's like, oh, like you have like a fist weapon. It's like, oh, but it's like the size of Shadow's head. And then you have like a sword weapon. It's like this thing is like it's like a Sephiroth sword.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the other issue that like I've had with like the Shadow game, that's like why I never like actually completed it, is because when you're going through a level, there's always 3 parts to it, where it's like the neutral, the good, and the bad. But like you can switch your partner so they tell you is like, oh, you're supposed to do this part for this quest, and you can like switch them mid game so they can remind you what you're supposed to be doing for like their quest. Yeah. But it doesn't stop you from doing the opposite quest if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, you can have Sonic with you. He's like, we got to rescue the soldiers, and Shadow will look at him in the eyes as he looks at the soldier on the ground, just puts a bullet in his head.
Yeah, it's just so it doesn't really stop you, and that's like how I messed up a lot of my missions. And also, if you mess up a mission, you cannot go back. If you want to redo that mission correctly, or in like another like moral status, in like a good instead of bad, you have to start the whole fucking game all over again.
Yep.
Jeez.
So it's just like this is terrible, but
yeah,
it's fun for a while.
Yeah, it's like I still find it enjoyable because, like I said, I play it and I giggle because I'm just like, Shadow's a gun. He's looking at me, he's killing people.
Yeah, I just turned on just to listen to the intro.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Sonic games, fucking music is always like A+, like S tier music. Every game, doesn't matter how shit the game. Even fucking Sonic 06, as shitty as that piece of crap is, the theme song is awesome.
I think I said this. I think Andy's like the only one who actually saw the comment, because I posted this on like a Facebook group feed on like some other page, and what I said was, it's like Sonic games are just interactive soundtracks.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, that was a huge tangent on fucking Shadow, and I'm not going to stop, but I'll wait to say more about other Sonic games I love to hate.
Before I say this game that I had, I had to reiterate. It was like, are we doing like a movie game podcast by any chance?
Yes, because Corey has a hard-on for doing that, so we will, if it's a licensed movie game, save it for then.
Okay, I will save it for them, because I completely forgot about this game. I completely forgot about this game. It's terrible, but I absolutely loved it, and Andy did too.
Every
I'm
time
gonna
we'd sing in Discord, he brought it up at least once.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna purposely go and buy a bunch of these movie games and play them just so I can. Because I was holding the Mummy in my hand and I was like, not yet.
Not yet, not yet, Brendan Fraser, not yet.
I'll even struggle bust a Harry Potter game.
I mean, I think PS2 had a bunch of like. I think PS2 probably has a larger volume of games
like
that like
700
people might
games.
like. Well, I think it's because it was like experimental games, right? Experimental games that like might ring, like connect with somebody, so they'll like it.
God.
Whereas like not as much shovelware.
Hang on, I got another one.
1,800 games on the PS2.
Jesus, go ahead, Edwin. What do you got?
Nicktoons Unite.
Hell yes.
That game is garbage. It has looping animations, but it's fun. And it has all your favorite characters, even some you don't even remember.
Beat 'em up game?
Yes.
It's like Marvel versus, or not Marvel versus Capcom, fucking Ultimate Alliance. But
Ultimate Alliance, but
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you got SpongeBob, you got Danny Phantom, you got Jimmy, and you got Timmy.
You got
all
Jimmy
fighting on one side.
That's fun. That's funny. I mean, it's a pretty solid recipe for like a play style that would be entertaining. Because I mean,
but here's my favorite part about this game: no one knows who Jimmy Neutron is anymore. So
no, I do. I love Jimmy Neutron.
No, hang on. I'm not blaming you. But if you notice on the cover art of Nicktoons Unite, you see Danny Phantom, SpongeBob, Timmy Turner, and Jimmy Neutron. There's a second game to this. Who in that list do you think would be removed?
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna. I think I know the answer to this. They weirdly removed Timmy, wasn't it? They like weirdly. Oh, wasn't it Timmy?
Removed Jimmy Neutron.
They removed Jimmy Neutron from the second game.
The Battle for Volcano Island.
Yeah, so it's just like you have the other three, but for whatever reason, they removed Jimmy Neutron. And they added like Sam from Danny Phantom onto the cover. It's like, why?
Oh, and they added what's her face? Sandy Cheeks.
What I'm thinking of is the fact. I think I'm actually thinking more modern. I'm thinking of the fucking what is it? The new Nicktoons Smash Brothers, and they still don't have Timmy Turner in it for some fucking reason.
Oh really? I didn't even notice.
They have fucking LT Gray in that game, but they don't have Timmy Turner.
Fucking LT is dope.
I know, I love LT Gray too. I'm glad he's there, but like now you don't have fucking Timmy Turner, the second fiddle to SpongeBob. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, for real.
It's like sorry, we don't deal with good shows anymore.
Yeah, well,
the graphics of this game that you're talking about do not look good.
No, they're terrible. The whole game, like graphically and animation wise, is terrible, and like the story is like subpar. But it's pretty much just like it's like 4 games put into one, and it's just like really minimized and then just continuous, where it's pretty much just like, oh, good versus evil, but it's like the good guy in each show versus the bad guy in each show, but they all like have an alliance. So it's like a Nicktoons Kingdom Hearts, pretty much.
It's funny because like the fact that they get rid of Jimmy is weird. Because of all the characters, he looks the best, but that's because he's already a 3D model.
Yeah.
All the other ones are just 2D drawings, and so when you see them all standing near him, it's like, hey, he kind of looks like the character from the show, and everybody else looks like Nightmare Fuel.
Well, it's like, if you watch the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, Timmy Turner was already Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, that was a rough show there.
I mean, it was still a good show, but the game, it looked like trash in every capacity, but it was still fun in its own right.
There's 4 of these?
There's 4 Nicktoons Unite.
There's 2 of them on the Wii.
Jesus, that's more than I know.
Wii shovelware.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. I'm just gonna paste this in our chat.
Just share it. Hang on, I gotta see this. That's surprising news to me.
Yeah, because that's funny.
Jesus Christ! Jimmy Neutron's back in the Wii ones. He's just gone in Volcano Island for some reason.
They're like, yeah,
He doesn't like hot tropical places.
He got a
felt
blast.
bad.
Yeah, he didn't want sunburn.
That's a really weird thing to do, but whatever. At least he's back. I did watch like the entire series, and like near the end, I can understand why they let the show die, because like the writing just started going to
At
absolute
least
shit.
they let it die before it became complete garbage, like fucking Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, and SpongeBob, but that thing is still going on strong.
Yeah.
But I digress.
I digress. We talk about video games here. I know you're bitch about Nickelodeon.
Well, I mean, it's still on topic to like justify for these games. Only two of them that I've ever known in my entire life. Wii ones I have never seen ever. So it's still pretty funny to see. It's like, hey, we're gonna remove this character for one game. Why? No reason.
He's not marketable.
Yeah, our public outreach survey said that everybody hated him, so we took him out.
Does anyone remember this character?
No.
Anything else on the PS2 that anyone remembers? I'm just looking through a list on Google for this.
PS2, a game that I enjoy that a lot of people were like disappointed with, it's weird, is called Chaos Legion. And it's basically just, I mean, it's a Capcom game. It's literally like a Devil May Cry type clone where you're a dude who like controls like you. It's super like gothic edgelordy type game. Your character himself is not very powerful, but you summon like creatures and order them to beat up things, and you level them up, and they have like their own skill trees, and I just thought that game was so cool. Like it looked cool as hell, and I don't understand why people don't enjoy it. Like I don't know why they were let down, because that's one that I'm excited that I still have in my library. It's like, oh, I got Chaos Legion. Like I remember playing this, and I know it was like a later PS2 release, but like that game was fun to me. Like I still like playing it. It might seem empty, I guess, because like it's not as rich.
No, you sound like you're justifying it. You have to agree that it's shit.
I mean, I know that it's not as rich as Devil May Cry. The atmosphere isn't there. The music might not be as good and everything else, because people were probably expecting a Devil May Cry game, but it's not, because it tries to have its own identity. And I could see how that would make people upset, but like I thought it was cool. Like I like playing it. I like summoning the.
Exactly what I said. This isn't about the games that you think is cool and everyone else thinks is shit.
Yeah, I mean
it's not justifying; it's coping.
I mean, like I can tell that. Like I don't think it's sold very well. It's not really well received. I know why. Like I could see why people would be disappointed in the game, because like I said, like the atmosphere of the game isn't there. The level design is kind of samey. Like everything is very samey in the game. But I just like the legions. Like I just think that was cool. Like the characters you summon, I thought they looked cool, because they're just like these weird monsters, but it's like gothic. And like the main character obviously is like super edgelordy. And it's like, oh, he's so awesome looking. You know, it was like a perfect age for the game. And then it is very empty. It came out around the time where games started being like same colory kind of thing, where they're like, oh, make everything gray and muted because that's cool and realistic. Yeah. But you know, I know that's one.
I think I know one that I don't know if I exactly liked, but I always had like a weird fascination with, because it was so strange. It's called Dog's Life on the PS2. It's literally just it's like the whole point of the game is like you're a dog. You do dog things. I think the story of the game was something like the girl dog that your dog character got like kidnapped by like the pound, and you have to like find them or something like that. I don't know. I just remember being as a kid, my friend had it, and I was just like, why does this exist? And I just had this weird fascination of playing the game. I was like playing it, I'm just like, I have to find out, like, what is this? I have to know. It was just like this morbid fascination with the game. It was shit, because the controls are dumb, and like your powers are being a dog. So it's like, what are your powers? I sniff.
Well,
I can shit on the yard.
A business justification. Would you play that over Nintendogs? Because I'm pretty sure that would be their competition.
It's not even about owning a dog. Like, you are a dog. Like, it's a
kind
cartoon.
of like the Goose Game, Untitled Goose Game, but like a dog.
Awful. Like, yeah, it's like Goose Game,
but
at
also
least fun.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another game on PS2 that's worth noting would probably be Jack X Racing. Because
I've never played any of the Jack games.
Oh, God,
I never hear anyone talk about that game at all. And I don't
Edwin,
even
why
know
do you
if the
disappoint me every episode? There's something I learn about something
I downloaded the entire collection on the PlayStation. I own them because it was like, oh, Jack's like the Jack games are like this. They're like similar to Ratchet and Clank, and I love Ratchet and Clank, so I just bought all the Jack games, and it was like I have yet to play them.
Jack 1 is a platformer, like warm-hearted game, and then the second game, Jack had like his heart broken, grew a goatee, and got a gun. And
I honestly think Jack and Daxter got better as it went on. To be honest,
yeah, no, I do. I did really enjoy that franchise, but like Jack X Racing came out, and me and Jordan played that all the time. We were playing it online using the PS2 hard drive thing. The weird part is like, I never met anybody that talked about it. So I don't even know if the game is like objectively bad. I just don't think anybody was playing it.
I think what's fucked up is that I think that game's like continuous with the story. Like that like bridges that in the next game.
There is also another Jack game that I've never played, and it has something to do with airplanes, and I think it's on PSP or
Are you thinking of Daxter?
No. There is a Daxter game, but there was another Jack game where you were flying airplanes and floating islands and stuff. And I never had a chance to play that. And I don't think it moved to console in any way. I think it just stayed on the PSP or the Vita or something.
Well,
but the combat racing game was really fun. Like me and Jordan would just take turns playing it online, and like we were really good at it. But I mean, we were also only playing like 10 people that were also playing it online.
all the other 10 people playing.
Yeah, we were all high-fiving each other. We love this game.
Yeah. But now we're veering off into good games, though. Gotta stick to garbage. This is depressing day.
Well, the one that I have too is Red Faction. That was mine. That one specifically, just a horrible story all alone. You're a miner in this weird-looking Mars place, and then you're obviously trying to escape being captured and shit. But the whole thing about it is that, you know, everything was destructible, so you could just blow up walls and shit as you go. And so more than likely, you'd just be like, fuck the story, because it is not good at all. And then you could just be able to play multiplayer and be able to just make craters and shit inside the walls while you're doing it. So you're basically spending most of your time just trying to make a big fucking hole and just see how far you can go inside the building. And you're just doing
it's like
that.
The original Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Faction is a weird franchise because, like, it's another game that I don't think anybody ever talks about. I think it might be well received, but, like, I just wanted to break stuff. Like, I didn't care about the game when I played it. It's like, oh, I can knock an entire building down with this hammer? Because, God, the one on 360, you just swing and hammer. That's all you do. I don't even know what the game's about. I'm just breaking everything I can because I want to. Like, that's...
Well, those, like, sandbox games are like that because, you know, veering off into the same I have like the same thought process as a kid whenever I played a Grand Theft Auto game. It's just like, I don't know what the fuck the Nico Bellic is doing. I just want to go shoot some hookers.
Yeah, I want to crash my car and fly out of the windshield.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like me and my friends would just fuck around in the city, just killing people and doing whatever. And when we die, we pass the controller.
Yeah.
Or you get too bored and you start acting like a regular citizen.
Yeah.
Try to stop at every stoplight.
Then you do that for like 10 minutes. You're like, all right, this is boring. And you pull out the RPG.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into PlayStation Portable.
Again, I
have something to make everyone really mad.
Okay, go ahead.
Like an entire fan base that I said I was a part of.
Screw yourself.
Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is shit.
Well, at least you acknowledged it.
Yeah. It was like everyone says like how good it was. It was like, it's like another game that's just like, another Kingdom Hearts game I didn't know existed. And then it took like, I don't know, like 4 years to actually play it because I could never get my hands on a functioning PSP to play it. So it's like I got it for like my 14th birthday and I couldn't play it till I was like 17 or something. But like that game was like, oh, it's decent, but it's like saying very minimally because like the combat and like controls on a PSP is terrible for like 3D games like that. Mm-hmm. And then just the actual game itself was also quite terrible. because it's just like a very like it's the same as like the DS game where it's just like, oh, it's like the hardware and like the function on a small little console like limits the actual like full potential of a game. Is why like so many crap games are on those consoles. To whereas like it doesn't it what is the word? It doesn't function very well like both combat wise and then like in like a worldly way as well. So like the worlds aren't like very sophisticated or anything. It's kind of like straightforward. The combat is very simple and easy. So it's like there's like hardly any challenge in it. And then also in the game itself, it has a very stupid way to level up. Whereas like you don't level up by beating up enemies. You level up by beating up enemies and leveling up each skill individually. And then that's what gives you your abilities and all that. And then I didn't know that until the very end. So I was struggle bossing through the whole game on like level 5 or something. Just like bare bones, hardly any powers because it didn't make any sense to level up that way. So it's like by the very end, I'm like, oh, you level up these things, you actually gain abilities to like unlock. You're playing alchemy with your abilities to like, oh, if I level up these two and I combine them, I get this ability, which will help me stay alive longer. And then I'll level that up to make it stronger and then fuse it together with all these other ones. And it's just like, I hate this so much. Why am I playing this? I got to play this game 3 times with 3 different characters because that's what the game is. I hated it so much. It's like, I don't understand how people like this.
Why am I a fan of this game? Why am I a fan of this franchise? Why must you make me do this? Why, Sora? Why?
It's funny because it's like I said, I was like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best, but apparently that's like and it's like makes Kingdom Hearts 2 overrated compared to everything else. So now it's just like a meme in like the Kingdom Hearts community to say, oh, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best. It's just like, oh, so it's like in I don't know. It's like you're some idiot for thinking it was like, oh, a good game's good. It was like because it is. What's wrong with saying that? The game that you like is garbage, and this one that everyone likes is good for a reason. That's why everyone likes it. I just don't understand some people.
Most people have shit opinions on video games. These are facts.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't have a lot of on like PSP, but I'm gonna pull in my experience with my Vita as well and just lump them in together. Because I was like, I guess again, it's just like I keep thinking about it, it's like I have refined taste in video games. I don't buy garbage, at least not intentionally. But the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I do have a couple that I would think are pretty fucking shit objectively, but I love playing regardless. The first one being the fucking the port of Star Wars Battlefront onto the PSP.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
garbage. It's so bad. And then they also had one that was exclusively on the PSP. I forgot what it was called, though. Because they ported Battlefront 2 directly onto the PSP, and then they had a whole separate installment of Battlefront exclusively for the PlayStation Portable. But as Edwin said, putting stuff on the Portable back then, they had to cut down on a lot of things. So A, yes, the graphics are terrible. But B, the AI is borderline non-functional, because I remember playing in the game, I could turn it up to elite difficulty and play like Galactic Conquest and be like, how many troops do you want to send to this planet? They're sending 200. I'm like, send 10. I'm the only person we need. And I will sit there against an army of 200 AI and just slaughter all of them because they're all cross-eyed and blind and just run into walls. Like, the game just barely functions. It's terrible, but I love playing it because it's like a Dynasty Warriors mentality. I felt like a god. There's nothing they could do to stop me. That one was bad. And then for a more niche series that I would feel people who are fans of it, like I am, would say that it's good, but I'm sorry, I'm going to look at it objectively. It's the series is garbage, and we know why we're playing it, is Senran Kagura. I have a lot of the PSP titles for that. And it's one of those typical anime fucking... It's like, we know why we're playing this. We want to see anime titties. And the gameplay itself is just like watered down Dynasty Warriors. Again, it's like, it's the most simple gameplay you could possibly imagine. Go through stage, smash square, sometimes triangle, and win. And it's just like, you just do it to watch anime titties jiggle all over the place. The games are shit, but I like playing them because I'm a degenerate. I think that's all I can think about the PlayStation Portal, because the only other shit I've played on there is like Persona 4, and I'll be a dead man before I say that game's garbage. So
I got one. One that I was like thinking about it, and I was just like, oh yeah, I just remember when I used to hang out at Corey's house a while back, and he would be out doing something. I'd be waiting for him to get home. I remember his dad handed me a game when I was playing the PSP, and it was called Work Time Fun. It was a fucking very, very strange game, but god damn it, it was very addictive. I'd be trying to figure out how fast I could start putting on pen caps onto a pen factory, and you're like trying to do that as quick as you can, so you got to flip them, making sure you're putting them on right while they're going through this belt. Or just some random shit, like you're helping this old guy cut some wood, and you're just chopping the logs or some shit. It's just like random things that are just constantly going, but it's just strangely addicting. And that was just something I was like, I'm sure no one liked it, but I thought it was fun.
Funny, I was going to say that same game, because on the cover, I still have it, and it just says WTF on the front, and the mini games. It's very much like a clone of Sony's like response to WarioWare, because there'd be like a mini game where they're chopping wood, and then sometimes they put a rabbit on the log, and you have to not kill the rabbit. And it's just WarioWare, and that's why it's fun. But like, it never really took off. But like, it's just a bunch of mini games that are goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
No.
I think it also had like didn't the PSP have a microphone on it? No. I'm thinking of it.
That was the DS.
That was the DS. But yeah, I do remember playing it. That was the one I was going to bring up, because like I don't really play a lot of handhelds, but there are a few games that like I wanted, and like I think I picked that one up because it was something I could play on like a plane or like a long car ride, because driving to my grandparents' house was like an hour and some change. So like it was, I asked for that, I think for like Christmas or something, because I wanted something that I could play in the back seat of the Blazer. I don't think I don't pick it up often, but that's just because my PSP isn't charged. But I would say that I had a lot of fun playing it, but I know a lot of people hate that game.
It's like the way you were describing it. It sounded like it was one of those like chore games, like pressure washer simulator, where it's just like, oh, I'm cleaning and I'm having fun, or like lawnmower simulator, things like that. A simulation game where it's just like, oh, it's a video game, therefore it's fun. But I'd rather be playing this than doing the real thing in real life.
That kind of shit blows my mind, just like how popular like Power Wash Simulator is.
Cleaning a house.
It's like, Jesus Christ, guys! Like, do you want to go like clean your actual house? Like, you probably
can have a lot of fun and make a lot of money by just contracting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's like
washing people's houses. Probably make more money though doing it on stream.
I think someone told me this. I don't know if it's like out or not, or if it's a mod or what have you. But I heard that they were gonna have like a Warhammer like collaboration where you're just like a person on the ship, like washing up all the blood and organs after people fucking kill everyone afterwards. It's like a power washing simulator thing.
There's already a game like that. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, the one where you come up and clean up after a murder or something.
Yeah, there's like it's like a secret base. There's like, oh, this place was raided, and there's like dead bodies and everywhere. You gotta like clean it up, and then it was like, oh, Santa went insane and killed everyone. It's like Santa went insane and killed like his entire workshop of elves, and so now you gotta clean up after all that. It's like, I forgot what it was called. Like it was like Hazard Incorporated Cleanup Crew or something like that. I don't know. It's weird kind of games, but it's like they got popular for a reason.
Right. Some people like it just for some reason. I'll never understand it, but
yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump on to Xbox 360.
I've played a lot of Xbox, but it's just like I
Burger King games. All of the Burger King
That's
games.
Such low hanging fruit, man.
I know, but I wanted to stay it now.
It's like, that's not even fruit, man. It's not even like low hanging. It's on the ground. There's ants on it. Don't touch that.
Yeah, that one's.
Fuck. I know I've played. This is going to be really vague because I know I've bought plenty of like shit on the Xbox like live arcade when that used to be a thing. Like, I don't know what it was called. And me and that same friend, who, by the way, was playing the fucking Call of Duty on the Wii and really liked it, we got this top-down zombie shooter game, like a twin-stick shooter. I don't remember the name of it, unfortunately. It's been so long, and I don't have that Xbox account anymore, so it's not like I can just look it up. But it was just a twin stick shooter, and you just kill zombies on maps that will just cycle forever. Like, it was the most low effort game ever, and I don't know. We loved it. We played the shit out of it. Like, if I had to put a number on it, we probably played it for upwards of at least 100 hours. But it was all it was, just killing zombies, twin stick shooter, top down, with levels that cycle over and over. To my knowledge, that game doesn't fucking end. I really wish I could remember the name of the game, but again, it's just like the game functioned. It was just low effort. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different kind of bad. It was just like it's like this could have been so much more for what this is, but it's just not.
Yeah, there's a few 360 games that are like cycling that are not like I feel like they're not popular or people didn't like give them a chance or anything, but they're like super fun. And one of those is Vanquish. Like that game is crazy.
I just remember the cover art of that. I don't even know what that game is.
It was a random purchase that I made, and I was like, "Damn, this game is cool as hell!" Like it's just really fun to play. Story's kind of dumb, but like it's the sole reason for me to even pick it up. It's because how fun it is to play. Like that game, like I don't even know what it's about really. But it's fun to play, and it's super fast. Like, it's really cool.
Oh, I got one. Again, it's something that me and my friends played a lot, but I think, at least in comparison to the rest of the series, even though this is a spin-off, is shit. We played the fuck out of Civilization Revolution on the Xbox 360.
Civ Rev?
Yeah, Civ Rev.
Yes.
So it's so for people, Civilization is a long running RTS game mainly on PC that's really in depth and complicated with creating cities and waging war and shit. But Civ Rev was their first like attempt at putting that on console. So it was like I believe a console, like it was crafted for console as opposed to PC. Where as of now they've crammed Civ 6 and we get more PC games being directly ported to consoles. But this Civ Rev was like. Civ Rev was like an extremely watered down version of Civilization, with cartoony graphics as opposed to I think they had more realistic ones at that point in Civilization. They have gone more stylized with recent Civilization, like Civ 6 is the one that I play. Civ 6, 6.5, I don't know. This is Civ. But it again, the game I don't say would be bad. It's bad in comparison to what Civilization is because of how much they took out and watered down the experience. The micromanaging is at a minimum. And even then I can say the game in the later stages, late game, because the game sessions are really long, especially depending on how many players you have and how large the map is. The memory starts taxing the console because the frames will start dropping and it'll start slowing down. So it's not optimized very well, but we played the crap out of that because I'm not a huge RTS fan, but I like a certain level of simplicity with my RTSs, which is why I don't go farther than Civilization 5. I think I have a Civ 6, Civ 5, whatever one I play on my computer. I don't play it enough to remember which one it is, but that's about as far as I'll go for micromanaging. And those high tier ones, stuff like Total War and stuff, I'll never touch because it's too much managing for me. But Civilization Revolution watered it down for me specifically, that I really liked it a lot and I'd play it over and over again. But compared to a regular Civilization, it has so much features and options taking out that it is kind of linear in terms of how you play the game, but I still have the disc for it, and I'd still play it every now and again. I don't know, I like it. It's watered down for me,
The 360 had a lot of shooters on it, and I mean I've played like a pretty large amount of them, but like a game that I enjoyed that was on 360 that not a lot of people like. The entire like Call of Duty fan base seems to hate Call of Duty Ghosts, and I don't know why, because I really love the multiplayer thing they have in there, because they did something different than zombies, and they have this thing called like Extinction or something like that, or Extraction, but it's like you're fighting aliens, and it's
yeah, that's garbage.
yeah. I mean, I really liked playing it. It was so different, and like I don't know, I had a lot of fun with it, and I ended up with the game because I was doing somebody's math homework for them, and I finished it all before they came back from GameStop. So I was like, yeah, I'll do this if you go get me Call of Duty. And he's like, okay. And yeah, that one, I just like Call of Duty Ghosts. I don't know why everybody hates on it so much. But another one would be 360 Silent Hill Homecoming, and that's another one of the of the Silent Hill community. A lot of people hate Homecoming, but I think it's really good. Like I like the story of that game. I know that the action style combat is not necessarily welcomed with the franchise because I think prior to this, the Silent Hill: The Room was the one that was released. And
Corey, you keep going off topic. Everyone you say is like, everyone thinks this is shit, but I liked it.
No, well, yeah, but I mean the game itself, like it's not reviewed well. Its controls are kind of weird. It takes the franchise in like a different kind of direction because every game after that adopts this new play style, which it's like it's not the same. It's like taking Resident Evil and then making it like Resident Evil 6. It's like, what is this? This isn't what it used to be. But like I really like that game at least. It's probably one of my favorites outside of Silent Hill 2, but that's a given because that's the one everybody like really seems to love because that one's like super dark.
I'm so surprised you didn't bring up Two Worlds.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that, but Two Worlds, I don't know. Like I had fun with it, but then everybody made me fucking hate that game because I was enjoying playing it, and it's not the greatest. It was fun to me, and then they have this drop in, drop out system. So my roommate and Jordan came into my game while I was playing it and killed the entire town I was doing a quest for. And then it's like, all right, fine. I can't play this because you guys are ruining this for me. But it didn't sell. Well, I guess it sold well enough because they made a second one, but then it fully shit the bed then because it was a franchise that just immediately died off. But it was very ambitious. I believe they were trying to compete with Elder Scrolls. Obviously, that didn't work out. I like fantasy games. I have like a soft spot for them, and it definitely made me buy it with the advertising and stuff. And we were so excited. Me and my roommates all bought it, and we were all going to play the game together and everything. And then I think after that weekend, we were like, I don't know. They're just making it hard for me to play it. I liked playing it, but everybody else kind of ruined it for me.
It's okay to like bad things. That's not our purpose here today. It's our purpose is to acknowledge the things that we think are bad, but we like anyways.
No, I know that game sucks. Like I know it should. It's like it's what was it?
Stop prefacing it with everyone says this is shit, but
yeah. No, I mean it's funny because like the way it was marketed, right? Because like it was supposed to be this like big, like everybody's like, oh, there's this big game coming out or whatever, and it was supposed to be this giant open world like fantasy game. It basically Kingdoms of Amalur before Kingdoms of Amalur, and then it sold because everybody was bought into the marketing, and then they were just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, the only experience I have with Two Worlds is just the Pro Jared video he put on in like a long time ago.
Yeah, that video is funny. But yeah, I mean, very much that video is everything about it because it's like, I don't know, like I could play it, and then I was taking advantage too of like the killing players when they join your thing. Like I would literally just stand next to the spawn, waiting for people to join my open game and just juggernaut them. And it's like, okay, like this, I had a lot of fun playing it, but. I mean, there is a reason why I don't typically play it now. I don't even think I can play it right now because I don't have a 360. But it was a fun while it lasted, I kind of guess. But yeah, that game basically nosedived pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't exactly add anything to the 360 list because I don't think I have any game that was totally hated. because it was more like the time where it's like I couldn't exactly afford to buy a game that was not popular.
This can't be
It was
bad.
like, so I was like, my money needed to be used precisely for games that were acknowledged as good games. So I was like, there was like a lot of arcade games, and then a lot of like actual like physical AAA games that I bought. So there's like not really anything I could add to this.
There is another game, and I think it was overshadowed by Mass Effect, and then like a lot of people, it's super janky. The game itself is super janky. You might have heard of it. It's called Binary Domain.
Nope.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Too Human. I really thought that's where you were going with that.
Too Human. What is that?
You know what Too Human
that was
is?
that Norse thing, wasn't it? The like futuristic.
I don't
Oh
fucking
God,
know.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fuck what I was about to say. I mean, Binary Domain is basically like a B movie version of Terminator, but like I
Okay.
loved playing it, and I thought the story was really cool. But like, not a lot of people liked that game because they had weird voice controls and stuff like that. But I definitely think people should give it a chance. But I know that it just was dead in the water. But Too Human, I forgot about that game, but I loved that game. It was supposed to be like a trilogy because it was like weird sci-fi Norse mythology. It was kind of like Diablo. You beat up things, get loot. I mean, basically everything I was talking about when we were going over Western RPGs is like it had the stuff I liked: kill things, find items, and then rinse, repeat. And like I thought it was a cool game. Like I was really excited about it. And then I was sad when they said they weren't going to continue the game because it was like this huge plan
Thank
for a
God.
trilogy and it died in the water.
Oh, there was a lawsuit.
Yeah, there was a lot of
They
crazy
pulled them
stuff.
off
It was a very
shelves.
expensive game,
Yep.
but I mean, I enjoyed that game. Like I unapologetically enjoyed that game. Like, me and my roommate just played the shit out of it. And then it was like, oh, there's no more. What happened? It's like you were the only ones
Shit,
playing
no one
this.
liked it.
It's like, oh, okay. I guess they only made like what games are $60 or $280 didn't do it. Okay.
I mean, glad you liked it. I think that game's fucking trash.
Yeah. Well, it was super cool. See, because I haven't seen like a Norwegian game or like Norse mythology. It wasn't like a huge Norse mythology like onslaught of stuff at the time, so it was kind of cool because that was a game that I played in another one called like Viking or something like that, where I don't know what the hell that game was.
I mean, there was a reason when you were like, yeah, I'm thinking of like a B movie Mass Effect. I'm like, he's gonna say Too Human, and when you didn't fucking say it, that's why I was like, oh, okay, whatever the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would recommend playing Binary Domain though, but like Too Human, yeah, definitely not for everybody. It was super exploitable, but I love finding items and getting gear because shiny thing pick up.
Possibly could be an expensive game now too. I'm sure.
Corey's just a good-natured soul who wants to see the good in everything and has a hard time hating things.
All right, is that all we got?
Cool.
Any more
That's
games?
all I got for that.
Yeah, I don't have anything for that.
We didn't even mention Earth Defense Force.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, why?
Yeah, I saw it on the list that I was looking at. It's just like they didn't mention this game.
Fuck.
That game is not good, but it is like it's like popcorn. It's I just want to consume it.
I mean, I literally describe like fucking. I mean, I guess maybe this counts for 360. I played these games more on like current day hardware, but it's just like I describe games like Far Cry like the fucking fast food of video games. It's like this is bad for me, and I shouldn't be playing this, but I kind of want to.
Yeah, no, like Earth Defense Force is just. It's so stupid, but like
Earth Defense Force 2049.
we put so many hours into
2029 or
it
something
just
like that.
because it would be like, hey, you want to play a split screen game so that we don't have to hook two consoles up and like link up online and stuff? Because the split screen started to die off, and it was like I bought it because I thought the cover looked like Power Rangers. I was like, what is this game?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even buy it with high expectations. I was buying it because I was just randomly purchasing a game I thought was going to be shitty but funny to play.
Pioneering.
Yeah, pioneering.
Because you bought a game because you thought it was going to be something. You thought it was something else. That's literally why I bought Lightyear Frontier was for that exact reason.
Well, it's funny too because like I did the same thing with a game called Vampire Reign, and that game is stupid. I did not even like it. That game sucks. It universally sucks, and I don't know anybody who likes that game. Which is funny because I was kind of expecting that to happen with Earth Defense Force, but then me and Jordan are like, on a 4-hour tear, just shooting big ants.
Big ants, big ass robot spiders.
They're like, they're like, oh man, you could blow up a building. Like, it was just so fun to play. I think because that game really captures like the arcade feel of a game, like on a console experience. Like, So it's very much an insert quarter type play, but it was so fun to play for long periods of time.
There's just so many damn different weapons you could get. That's what
there's no. Like, I don't give a shit about the story. I don't know what's going on. There's just spaceships everywhere. They're dropping giant spiders and ants off. And I'm like, whatever.
For Super Earth.
Yeah, run it back. Run it back on a harder difficulty so we can get new gear.
Yeah.
They're still making them. There was one that came out like a couple months ago.
Oh my god!
It has like mech suits that you could like. It's like you could basically be like Iron Man and stuff in them now. It's crazy, but like there's a fan base. I didn't even know the game went all the way back to like Super Nintendo because it used to be like a Galaga style or I guess Gradius or something style game. So it's kind of fun that it's just like this long running shitty franchise that people are consuming enough to where it justifies keep making it.
Does it play like Exo Primal or something like that?
Yeah, basically Exo Primal. I bet if we played Exo Primal, we would like it because it has a very similar like aesthetic where it's just, hey, look, there's dinosaurs in the city. You're like, we better do something about that.
I didn't want to fucking make another account to play another fucking game on some fucking bullshit. God, I hate that.
Well, it's like not just dinosaurs. It's like Exo Primal is just like mech suits. And it is kind of like Helldivers, but it's like you fight dinosaurs in like mech suits, but it's just like some dinosaurs are like special, and there's like a freaking T-Rex coming out of a purple crystal T-Rex coming out of a wormhole. It's like, wow, this game is a lot more insane than I thought. But it was like I don't know that much about the way you were describing the way you were describing the Earth Defense Force. It sounded like Exo Primal.
Well, yeah, no, it's just a game where you high five and shoot a lot of guns. That's all you really do in that. It's not a good game, but like it's a fun game. That's all it really is. Like it's just
fucking. I'm a sucker for dinosaurs, but God, Exo Primal came on fucking Game Pass, and I just booted it up, and like every other time any game, it's just like, all right, we have to get you set up with another account with blah 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 blah. I'm like, fucking eat dicks. God, just let me play the fucking game.
Yeah, I already have an Xbox account. You should just use that one.
Exactly. I'm like, why do you need this? You don't. You just want my fucking information. That's all you want, assholes.
Yeah.
It's like what we had to do with Square Enix. Anytime you want to play any of their games now, it's like you got to set up an account and then read the terms of use. So like the second you start playing this game, we're collecting information. It's like,
I'm probably gonna throw Earth Defense Force as the VIP of this podcast conversation in general because like I love that shitty game.
All right, on to the next one.
I think that was the last one.
That was the last one. If we were
well, too bad. I'm gonna go off now. So I had a lot on GameCube, and I'm gonna bitch about Sonic some more. So I hope you weren't tired of that.
Is it Sonic Unleashed?
No, I have my limits. So specifically with GameCube, there's two other Sonic games, and like I said, I only jumped in on the Shadow conversation because it's technically on PlayStation 2, even though I played it on a GameCube. So there's two other Sonic games that I have a huge nostalgia for, that again I would look at and be like, nah, that's pretty fucking garbage. Got Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure 2. Specifically 2. Fuck Sonic Adventure 1. That game is literally unplayable.
Awesome.
But 2 is a shitty game. Again, it's all this Sonic falls under all these same fucking problems where it's like homing attack. It might work, it might not, and then half the time I'm throwing myself into the fucking ocean or bottomless pit because the game decided it was going to kill me, not because I fucked up, because the game decided it was going to break right there.
That's because you're playing the game. The best part of that game is the Chow Garden.
Well, yeah, and I was going to get to that. It's like, why do people... And you know, in Sonic Adventure 2 is a game that most people remember fondly. And
It's
I
awesome.
think it's primarily because of the Chow Garden, right? Because, again, the gameplay is shit. And, like, half the time it doesn't work. Like, you're going to fucking... Huh?
I disagree. Sonic Adventure 2 is probably the best Sonic game that I've played.
Oh, God, no. Have you played Sonic Generations? That's what a Sonic game should be.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, but it's just like I haven't played Sonic Generations. Andi did, but not me because it's hers. So it's like I never really got the chance because she doesn't like sharing because I beat games too quickly and she gets mad about it.
Well, no, like I could sit you down and tell you why, because it's just like, again, if a game,
I get it. I was like, oh, Sonic Adventure 2 is like, oh, dated. It's like, but it's still like overall fun.
No, it's
like,
not dated. Like you think it'd be dated and good. The problem is that the game doesn't work because it's like you get these items like
you were playing Sonic Heroes earlier. I was like, I know that game is shit. It was like you
I'm
cannot
playing
compare...
it right fucking now. It's shit.
It was like, yeah, I was like, it's shittier than Sonic Adventure 2.
No, Sonic Heroes works better than Sonic Adventure 2 does, because fucking Sonic Adventure 2, like, the speed characters, when you're playing either Shadow or Sonic, you get this fucking item that if you press B on a trail of rings, you're supposed to follow them. So if a game happens to have it where you have to follow those ring trails, especially over bottomless gaps that are going to fucking kill you, and there's a solid, like, 25 to 50% chance that when I press that button, halfway through the fucking trail, Sonic or Shadow just be like, I'm gonna stop now. I'm just gonna kill myself, throw himself in this fucking water and die, and you have to do it again. Because the game just doesn't fucking work. The game is bad. Like, it's really bad. And don't get me, and people will remember the Chow Garden, and they'll remember those Sonic and Shadow levels, because those are the better levels, too, even with those issues. Because don't tell me people going back and be like, oh yeah, the Eggman and Tails level, this slow, shitty mech thing with one gun, and I can't do anything, and it's slow and boring, or the Rouge or Knuckles level where I'm playing hot or cold, going wherever the fuck I want. This fucking stupid puzzle bullshit. It's not fun. People remember it because of the Chow Garden. The Chow Garden is legitimately cool. Like, the Chow Garden's fun. But, like...
I'm sorry. Did you forget about Pumpkin Hill?
I know! The fucking music is sick! I will never fucking say the music is bad. Pumpkin Hill's bumping. Like, it has a great soundtrack. I'll fucking Escape from the City, which is supposed to be in the new Sonic movie, by the way. But it's just like, it's so fucking good. Like, the music is good, but the gameplay's shit. It's just garbage. If when I press the homing attack, Sonic decides like, in the same situation, I'm looking at an enemy and I press the homing attack and I'm supposed to chain the homing attack to get somewhere, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, even though I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Like, it's bad if it doesn't work. Don't get me wrong. I still, like, remember, like, the segment, especially in the first level, Escape from the City's playing in the background, especially at the climax of that level when you're doing the Crash Bandicoot running towards the screen away from, like, the out-of-control fucking truck. That's fucking cool. I'm not gonna say it's not. Remember, I like this game, but objectively, it's shit. It just is. Like, when the gameplay does not work, it is bad. That's a bad game. And unfortunately, like, Sonic games suffer from that problem a lot. And while I like Sonic Heroes, I like it because I like Sonic characters, and I'm one of the guys who likes like the side Sonic characters. Again, I like Shadow, I'm an edgelord, but I liked E123 Omega. I like Team Chaotix, despite them always getting shafted and never actually getting to be playable in another game ever again. But Sonic Heroes has the same issue, especially with the fucking rails, because again, Sonic Team has like this weird fetish where they like, let's put rail grinding, more rail grinding, put it in every game. It's like, does it work? Who fucking cares? People love grinding on rails. And when I jump on a rail and it looks like to me I'm supposed to catch onto it and I just clip through the rail and die, but then when I die and reset that segment and go to the rail again, that time I clip on, the game is broken. It's frustrating and shitty and broken. But I like it because of the colors, because of the music, because of the characters, and then I'll roll my eyes every time the game just decides I'm going to die. But those games are shit. They just are.
The thing with Sonic Adventure 2, though, that kind of gets robbed if you're only playing on the GameCube is the Dreamcast version has like a thing where you can play your chows on like the memory card as like a little Tamagotchi thing. So like that's kind of cool, but you don't get that on the GameCube. Granted, that's just like a mini game thing, and we're talking about the game as a whole. And I would almost say
you had the Game Boy Advance connection with the GameCube one. If you had like Sonic. I don't know what Sonic game it was on the Game Boy Advance, but it could connect to the GameCube, and it does something similar.
Oh, isn't it just Sonic Advance or something like that?
Something like that. I never played it, actually.
To be fair, Sega was using Sonic as their mascot, and now they have to publish their games on their competition's consoles. Sonic is not a fun game, and I know that might piss people off, but in my opinion...
No, people like it because like for other reasons. That's the point I was trying to make. Because the gameplay is garbage. I'm sorry. Well, the game doesn't function. It's bad.
Once they left that 2D like realm, that's why like probably the newer ones that are coming out like with the side-scrolling thing. Like that's probably going to be a fun Sonic game. But it's like going back to what it was. I mean, the indie devs that made Freedom Planet or something like that. It's like very inspired by the Sonic games, but it's the classic Sonic games that everybody loved. Once they went 3D, because it's like. What if we took a character who's really fast and then made him bump into shit all the time?
Yeah, even the original Sonic games had that problem. It's like, yeah. It's like you're fucking boning someone, and you get blue balled immediately. It's like,
it's like it's a game about momentum, but then they have platforming, and it's like those two things don't mix. This is not a character that's meant to Mario 64.
And that's why I think Generations was the epitome of how you should do 3D Sonic, because they added the boost meter. So anytime you lose that momentum, you just press a button as long as you have meter, and you get back up to speed again. So you're not being put on the downtime nearly as much. And that's why I love Generations. Fuck, Generations was supposed to be a fucking it's like a Sonic anniversary game. So they basically took like the best or most memorable missions from all the past Sonic games, including Heroes, including Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, hell, even including Sonic 06, and they somehow made that level fun because they added this boost meter, and it's just Sonic going super fast, and even if you hit something, you just hit the boost meter as long as you have charge, which wasn't hard to get. You just boost right back up to full speed, and you feel, it's like I'm Sonic, and I'm going fast. It's fun. Who knew?
It's the thing I'm supposed to do. Now, to be fair, I never really was like a fan of Sonic games or Sonic the Hedgehog just because like I was like a Nintendo fanboy. I know that like as a kid in school, that was like the earlier rivalries of like, oh, I like Nintendo and I like Sega, but I didn't have a Sega growing up. I only had a Nintendo, but I'd play Sega at my neighbor's. I think my babysitter's neighbor had a Sega, and we'd go over there and play like, Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. My only interaction with Sonic was the comics and the cartoon, and like I was like, oh, because I never had the games. So Sonic Adventure 2, oddly enough, was the only Sega or Sonic game I ever bought, and like I really liked playing it. But like I like the Chow thing. Like I thought that was the most fun. I didn't really give a shit about the main game. I just like, oh, these little guys.
You played the main game because people remember the main game because you're doing the main game to get the shit for the Chows to get back to doing Chow stuff.
Yeah, I just want to sit there and be like, oh, look how cool he is. Let's race him.
Well,
you're trying to get the Chaos Emeralds, right? You're like, what?
Edwin, what are you trying to say?
I watched like a really long, like possibly 2 hours of like explaining like good level design in Sonic games and what makes a good Sonic game. And according to them, besides like the obvious, like 2D is better. Like in the 3D format of Sonic games, that Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are the better ones because of the way the level designs are. I think more the first one than the second one, because the way it's designed is you can utilize Sonic's speed and dodge most of the platforming, like mostly the annoying parts. And you can get to like areas where it's not exactly intended, but like they designed it so that you still could go up there if you like and played a specific way. because they added that to Sonic Adventure 2, and like some missions can be completed better that way for like the rank A, for like the rank A leveling and stuff. Yeah, but it's like more. The issue that Sonic has is more of it's just a problem in level design above pretty much anything else.
But your level design could be as good as flawed as possible. If the fucking controls don't work, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have to have like on-point controls, because if you're not reacting the way I need you to,
and especially in 3, and like I said, I appreciate seeing the other side of the argument, but I've probably listened to twice as many hours explaining why those same games are complete fucking dog shit, even when it comes to level design. It's mostly about the controls, because like I said, that's great. If it has good level design, that's fantastic. But if the level design requires me to hit B to go over this trail of rings, and the game decides that it's just not going to fucking work, then the level design doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Well, it's like a lot of issues that, like, when they first got like 3D stuff, there was like a bunch of it's like two different development teams of like different languages have to work together, and then there's like a constant fight between just 3D animation and motion capture. Is like a lot of arguments between like two developers, so it's just like they just need to get that sorted out so that there's like no complications and everyone gets their shit together. Because it's like there's one thing that I haven't played Sonic Generations, but I heard like a little tidbit about it that's like quite interesting, and that in Sonic Adventure 1, like Max Chaos, like the character, like Max Chaos and like his weird like snake tentacle thing in the water, that's not exactly how he's supposed to look, but they couldn't make him look the way he was supposed to, so the way he looks in Sonic Generations was the intended way to look. So he's like water, and then he has like a blue shell on him. It was like they couldn't add the blue shell because they didn't have the technology to make him look like that back then.
Chalk that up to dreaming too big.
Yeah, it's like I said, and the point I'm saying is I still like Sonic Adventure 2. I still love Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes is probably my most played Sonic game. I love it. I've beaten it like 100%ed it multiple times.
Yeah, because you got to play it 4 times.
You got to play it 4 times. You got to get all the bonus keys and get all the Chaos Emeralds and shit. But I mean, I couldn't count to you how many times this game has just thrown me off a cliff, especially the fucking rails. Like, I have never died so much except on, I mean, fucking, I'm sitting here playing it right now. I already died fucking 3 times on the stupid rail level because I'm like, oh, I'm going to touch it, and then I just clip through the rail and die because the game's not fucking coded properly. But I love and hate Sonic.
Yeah, but it's like, you're saying it's like, oh, Sonic Heroes is better than like Sonic Adventure 2's, but like the issues that you're having, I never had in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, I don't think you played it enough.
I've heard.
I can hear from everyone else who's played Sonic Adventure. It's either that, or you're just choosing. You're blocking it out of your memory because you want to remember the good times. Because I guarantee you, every time I play Sonic Adventure 2, that shit's just as buggy mess as this one is.
I'm really surprised there wasn't like spin-offs of like solo games of some of the characters they introduced on there. Like Shadow got his own game, but there wasn't like a Rouge thing or any of that. Tails, I don't think has his own thing either, but yeah, he's a sidekick by design.
They decided this year is Year of Shadow, by the way. Yeah, so they might remake Shadow the Hedgehog, and I would unironically be excited for that.
That would be kind of funny. I mean, because it is just like a random ass character, but with him being in the movie, it's like, kind of writes itself.
But without this turning into the Sonic the Hedgehog episode, I have one more game that I wanted to talk about and point out why I like this game, even though it's shit for different reasons. But if anyone else has something to go first before I go off on another tangent, go ahead.
I do not.
I think one game that I would like to mention, and I don't know, like, obviously I've been breaking this rule like the entire fucking time, but I don't know if this was a game. I know that a lot of people hated it. But DMC.
That one might cry.
Yeah,
no, I think like
specifically the remake when they rebooted the franchise.
I hate the character.
Yeah, because people hated the character so much, and like they changed the story and everything. And
I stopped playing after
I had a lot of fun. Like I thought Ninja Theory did a really good job with it. Like my favorite Devil May Cry is the third one, but like I really liked the game. I was like, I don't understand why people hate this shit, because like
I mean,
yeah,
it
he
is
doesn't.
mainly like boycotting because I mean they also insulted the fans in the game because the fucking wig blows on his head and he just looks at it, he's like, no way, and I'm just like, wow, way to
Yeah.
spit on your fan base.
Yeah, I mean he's supposed to be young, and I know he's young in like the original, or well, in because the prequel of the franchise is actually Devil May Cry 3, and then DMC, you know, you're playing as Dante, and then like they do the whole like white hair arc like towards the end, and it's like, okay, so he's becoming the one that we know, but it's like no one wanted to give it a chance because he's like, oh, he's edgy, and you know, he's got that stupid haircut, and you know, he's, you know, whatever. But I mean, you could say he's probably more sarcastic than he normally
He's
is.
like not a
It
demon
wasn't
yet.
universally received well through like the fan base and everything, but like I really liked the Devil May Cry games, and like I thought that one was really fun. I was kind of sad that they were like not going to do another one of that, but the game did so bad that they just continued the original story and they made Devil May Cry 5. So it was like, okay, I guess that didn't work. So back to the original, I suppose.
It's shocking. Insulting the fans of the original didn't
Yeah.
really pan out for them.
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And I can't remember if there's God of War did something like this too with the God of War Ascension. Like no one liked that game, but like I thought it was cool. It came with a weird online mode that was like you make a gladiator, you pledge like allegiance to a god, and you get like powers from that god. And I thought that was kind of a neat little thing. I mean, I played it a little bit, but like Ascension is like a weird prequel in between. Like it's before he gets the Chaos Blades, so it's like a prequel to the first game, but they already kind of do a prequel to the first game with like one of the other ones. It's a weird place in the timeline, but I thought that game was good. But that's pretty much it. I would have to go
I've
look.
got nothing. I got nothing.
I have to go
I
look
got
into my
nothing else
library.
anymore.
All right, time to Udon to go off on some other bullshit again. All right, so Ark Survival Evolved. And this just changed in recent, but it's mainly because of the actions of Studio Wildcard and Snail Games and all this other nonsense that's happening outside of the game. But Ark Survival Evolved, for those uninitiated, is one of many like survival crafting games. But the point of the game is that like you're on this thing called an Ark, which is like this giant space station that's occupied by dinosaurs, both real dinosaurs and made up dinosaurs specifically for the game.
Naturally.
And the game is freeform survival. You have like a vague goal of beating the bosses on each giant level and moving on to the next one, and crafting bases and taming dinosaurs that'll help you do stuff like mine for resources or fight, yada yada yada. And you make like a giant army of dinosaurs and use it to fight the boss, and then do it all over again. On the next level, that will usually have like a different biome or a different gimmick that you can do. And here's the thing, here's a reason why I think some people would like certain games because despite their quality, because they offer something to them that literally no other game has offered them or can offer them. Because the closest comparisons Ark Survival Evolved has, at least in terms of competition, is in the past it was Conan Exiles, and now we have Pal World, which is a new competitor to that scene, but it's still not the same because I play Pal World and it's scratching a different itch because it's cartoony like Pokemon, while Ark is like real dinosaurs, or at least realistic in how they look. There's nothing stylized about it. And Conan is a completely different story where you just enslave people instead of dinosaurs.
Yeah, Conan.
But
insert Conan here.
Yeah, but Ark Survival Evolved, at least, again, I'll go back to my friend Blake, who I mentioned before, is really shit at showing off games when he first initially showed me Ark Survival Evolved. He's like, check out this cool game, and he spawns in on Scorched Earth, which was the second map, which was a desert map, and he spawns in, he goes around and he picks some berries. There's this large, obnoxious text on the screen that looks like the game's in fucking alpha stage, and then he gets mauled to death by a saber-tooth tiger, and I'm just like, and he's like, wasn't it cool? I'm like, no, it looks like fucking shit. It's like, what do you want me to say? You just spawned in, picked some berries, ate shit, and died. Like, It doesn't look fun at all. But
Sounds
then
like
again,
something I would do, trying to show someone a game.
yeah. But but as I got into it, and I'm a huge dinosaur guy, and but so it's like it's a game where you have freedom to craft a cool base, get cool dinosaurs with cool colors and abilities to help you explore this island that you can ride. A big thing is that you make mounts for like saddles for all of them that you can ride, both like in air. There's flying ones, there's ones under the water, there's ones on land, and some of the crazier dinosaurs that they made up for the game that can be kind of, they have like this cool reptilian tiger that's called a shadow mane that can go invisible and shoot lasers and stuff. Like they get real crazy with the designs for the made up dinosaurs.
I think I saw a picture of that thing. It looks like it belongs in the Avatar universe.
Yeah, it really does.
It's really cool looking.
But even today, like it is still like even Ark Survival Evolved, because nowadays it's called Survival Ascended because they announced that they were making Ark 2, realized they had no idea what they were doing in Ark and Unreal 5 and needed more money to finish Ark 2 and decided to re-release Ark Survival Evolved called Survival Ascended and re-release it in Unreal 5 as basically a remastered thing. And I could go into a huge tirade about all the controversy surrounding it, but I won't. Basically, the game is shittier than it was, and even the past game is still riddled with bugs, including one that drives me mad to no end, where like you can have a gun and like to tame dinosaurs you have to like tranquilize them first. And in the first game there's a bug that like you can shoot your gun, and it's called the reload glitch, and you'll be stuck in an infinite reloading glitch until you switch out your weapon and switch it back. And when you're running from a fucking T-Rex that's trying to goddamn eat you, it is not the time for your gun to fucking jam. And sometimes when you get to shoot them, there's hit registration issues, so sometimes you're wasting ammunition that you just fucking spent hours grinding resources for to craft into tranquilizer ammunition to take out the T-Rex, and it's not registering and it's not reloading, and oops, you died. And now you gotta respawn back at base with nothing and go back, and you're probably the mount that you're on probably got fucking mauled to death, and you have to go get your shit again. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it sounds great, right? It's like, but it's just like, it's a game experience where I could just be in this dinosaur world in like, it's totally free form and do what I want that no other game has given me. And I'm like an abused spouse or something. I keep coming back being like, all right, honey, how are you going to fuck me over today? It's like, and I've played it for the longest time, and I have recently given it up because of the controversy surrounding because how the shittiest things this company's doing to fuck over the players. Like, hilariously enough, I say that Survival Ascended has come out, but if you look on the Steam charts, there's more people playing the past game called Survival Evolved, even though they will not they shut down the servers for that game. It's all player-driven servers, and they're not supporting it anymore. But because of how shit the new game is, there's more people playing the old game. But people are playing it because Ark gives them something that has no competition for. I genuinely think that's the only reason people are still playing the game. They put up with this bug-riddled mess, this game that still doesn't function properly because it offers them something that's like just the closest, like close enough to the fantasy that you want to live out, essentially. And like I said, it has pseudo competition, but Palworld and Conan Exiles still isn't offering people the same thing they get when you play Ark.
Well, the Ark thing that's like compelling to me is that it reminds me of Dinotopia, and it's like that whole like living amongst the dinosaurs thing. Because it's wild to me that like dinosaurs aren't like super popular in video games. It's like one of those weird themes because like there's the Turok games. Yeah, and Turok was cool, but then they tried to bring it back, and then it kind of like faltered. Because like the Turok game was on 360, and then they did an Area 51 game on 360, and those are like older games. They're trying to bring them back, but like no one gave a shit. But like dinosaurs are cool, and this is the only popular game that I can think of that has a bunch of dinosaurs in it. And
at least in the context, right? Where you're not trying to like, yeah, it's like you're not trying to kill them. You want to be like, you want to have pet dinosaurs, essentially. It's like, I want a pet T-Rex.
You want to ride a freaking raptor with armor on and stuff. And it's funny because, clearly that works with Horizon, with the robot dinosaur stuff. Like, that's a very popular game, and they, like, approached it in a really cool way. Like, I love the creature design in Horizon. And so it's like, what are they doing? You have this recipe for something super dope, and, like, how are you fucking this up?
like I said, it's because they're kind of incompetent. Because even though some bugs like that reload glitch was fixed in Ascended, at least from my knowledge of playing it, it just delivered a host of new bugs that they won't fix, and the servers are unstable. But people keep coming back to it because there's no other option. It's
Yeah.
like they have them trapped. And I just I don't know. It's just like I love the game, and if I ever wanted to play something with dinosaurs, that's my go-to. But like I just stopped playing. Like I said, there's a whole other side to the story regarding the company itself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus within the game. Game's broken. It's a glitch-filled mess. There's so much that goes wrong. I can't. I tried making a fucking house that was really cool looking, but because of how glitchy the building mechanics are, like I spent like probably 3 times as long as I needed to because I kept breaking my own. It was like when you're making a Lego and you fuck up and you break something and you try and fix it and you break something else and it just fucking falls apart. But yeah, I just keep coming back to it. It's an abusive relationship because I don't have another option.
We don't have a new Dino Crisis yet.
Well, even then, Dino Crisis, like that's Resident Evil dinosaurs. That's shooting dinosaurs. I want to be one with the dinosaur. I want to ride with the dinosaur.
Hang out with the dinosaur, have a beer with a T-Rex.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. And it's just I love that game, but I will never say it's good. It's garbage, but I don't have another option.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you said you had another one?
No, that was basically it as far as I could tell. I basically just wanted to bitch about Sonic and then probably Ark because it's like because it's like I said, I keep thinking of other games. I'm trying to stay away from stuff like I could go on a tirade about how I think Sword and Shield is a good Pokemon game despite everyone else thinking it's garbage. I think Edwin agrees with me on that one. So
yeah, I like Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I'll defend that.
I hate the two like dudes, but yeah, I like that game.
There's stuff wrong about it, but like it's like Sword and Shield's so bad. It's like now we have Scarlet and Violet. Now how do you feel?
I feel like new low.
Yeah, I feel like my honorable mention for like games that are shit that I just really liked is probably this game called Cuisine Royale. Because I like trying all these battle royale games. That game is it's so bad. It's so bad, but I just loved playing it for some reason. It's probably because I won a lot.
Shit on Turd Mountain.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, look at me winning. Look at me stealing TVs like that. It was such a shitty game, but I played it every single day for like 2 years.
That was like the only thing that you were playing for like the first 2 years that I've known you.
Yeah, I was playing it, and I would just be sitting there playing it and be like, I just bought Jedi Fallen Order. I should be playing that right now. But I would put like 2 hours into this game before I stopped and would play something else. Like H1Z1 isn't bad. I know it's like that one's not really a bad game, but like for battle royales. But Cuisine Royale was just so shitty, and I would just complain the entire time. But I was like, yeah, but I got that victory.
Yeah, but I win.
I think the only reason why I liked it is just because I would win. So that's all. But I'm like, I paid $70 for a game that I'm just not playing right now because I'm playing this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's still a problem nowadays. It's just like I just bought a new game. Guess I'll go play Fortnite.
Yeah. I'll just sit there and be like, I should be doing something else. All right. Are we doing some triv?
Let's get on to some trivia. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so the first question I have for you guys is, in early development, Grand Theft Auto was originally supposed to be called what? Road Rage, Race and Chase, American Gangster, or Street Psycho?
American Gangster.
This is a good one. I'm going to say...
I think I'm with Edwin on this one. I think it's American Gangster, I think.
I'm going to say Street Psycho.
The answer was Race and Chase. According to one of the original games developers, Gary Penn, with GTA, it was initially called Race and Chase. Instead of that playing as a car-stealing gangster, the game gave you the option of being a gangster chase police officers as well.
It's like I was wondering. It's just like I was like American Gangster would probably make more sense for like a beta name for Saints Row.
To be fair, though, Grand Theft Auto came out in the late 90s, so Race and Chase is a very stupid-ass name that would probably be a name that would be in the 90s.
It was like, is it even like socially okay to name put gangster in a video game name or something like that?
Well, back then, probably would be fine. But it's I think they had a lot more focus on like cars in the early Grand Theft Auto 2, so I guess I could see that.
I just can't imagine being in a boardroom and they're like, "What are we going to call this game?" And then somebody raises their hand. He's like, "Race and Chase." We're like, "That's a cool idea," and everybody high fives. Like, that's such a dumb name.
Voiced by Eddie Murphy.
the guy in the corner, fucking looking down at his folder. It's just like Hooker Killer 9000, just like angrily closes his folder.
What do you got over there, Ryan? He's like, I don't want to say it. Closes his book.
Yeah.
I guess Hooker Murderer is not a good title.
All right, so in question 2, this is a funny one. In the video game Zelda, what was the original name supposed to be given for Link? Was it Rufo, Quest, Chris, or Star?
I want to say Quest, but because you said it's a funny one, I think Chris is hilarious.
I want to say Rufo because I think that one's funnier.
Yeah, I was thinking of Rufo too. It's like, that sounds stupid enough because Sonic is, what, Ogilvy or something like that? That's his like actual name, but it's I don't know why. So it's just like, go for the weirdest one.
So the answer is Chris. As for Link, he was originally going to be named Chris or Christo after Shigeru's godfather, but the name Link was ultimately chosen because he meant to be a link between the player and the fantasy world of the game.
Yeah,
look
makes
at them
sense.
thinking ahead. That's sad though, because like I said, it was funny. I didn't realize it was his godfather. That's kind of like dickish to say. That's like, oh, what a dumb name. It's like, that's deeply rooted in my family. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
He's like, you brought great honor to my family.
That would just be weird. Like, if he had a different name, like I feel like Link is just so iconic, right? I mean, obviously, but like,
Chris
it'd just be funny if it was like, oh, this is his name. Steven.
Rufo.
Yeah, Rufo, the hero of time. Rufo sounds like what you're trying to do to somebody at the club so you can take him home.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't. Yeah, that would have been a really bad thought out plan. Like, says no one was roofing anybody in the 80s. And then they're like, oh, we really picked the wrong name.
So in question 3, the PlayStation was originally designed as what company's console? Was it supposed to be for Sega, Magnavox, Nintendo, or Microsoft?
It was Nintendo. Yeah. Because that's where Final Fantasy VII was being developed for.
Really? Okay, well, if you're so sure, I guess I'll go with you.
I didn't 100% understand the question, so I'll just go with that one.
The answer was Nintendo. So the PlayStation was originally designed as a Nintendo console with Sony to make the inside components. When Nintendo console changed their minds about making the console, Sony decided to go ahead and produce the PlayStation themselves.
Yeah, it's how dickish. They're like,
sold
fine, we'll make our own.
And they did, to much to Nintendo's dismay.
Yeah, and then it became a juggernaut. But yeah, they were developing I think they were working alongside them when the 64 was coming out, and then Nintendo wanted to do stuff, and Sony was kind of pissed about it, because they're like, no, we should do it like this, and they just had like disagreements. But Final Fantasy VII, the reason why the characters look like that is because they were initially made for like the 64, but it wouldn't have fit on a 64, and there's stuff they wanted to do. And then they ended up just developing their own CD
console wars.
They basically started the console wars with like that generation.
Yeah,
which would have been weird if that worked out. Like, there's an alternate timeline of our multiverse where there is no PlayStation, and people aren't shitting on Nintendo for having bad graphics.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, how does that correlate to like the fact that they wanted to add a disc drive to the N64?
Well, I don't think that ever was developed, that they were trying to do that HDD thing. There is a couple, but I think it was only in Japan, and I think they're only prototypes. Don't quote me on that, of course. But, like, they wanted to do something, and then Nintendo wanted to do something else. So Sony was like, well, we'll just make our own console. And then that's where PS1 came from. And it was expensive at the time, but it was a very large leap forward, because developing for the PlayStation was easier since they used a different type of format than the cartridge that 64 or Nintendo was using. Developing for Nintendo products usually is pretty tough in general because they always do some weird shit.
Alrighty.
They want to make it unique.
Yeah. All right, so, well, it looks like we'll be wrapping it up. Check us out on social media.
Hey, this is Corey, and thanks for checking out Mediocre Rumble Brothers. If you liked the video, please drop a like, and if you didn't, that's fine too. If you'd like us to talk about any specific games, drop a comment below, or feel free to discuss your experience with the games that we mentioned in the episode. You can also listen to our episodes prior to YouTube on our Spotify. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.